What's going on, internet? Are you working today? Is this thing on? I guess. Yeah. Okay. Damn, son. It seems we did go live somehow. Um, somehow. Somehow. Um, Let me about this one thing. Move it over here, also over here. Close it over here. Let me have it over here. And with this, we're almost ready. Okay, we have this. I mean, I don't really put that much ideas or that much thinking behind what I will do with the next 10 minutes after I literally hit go live, so that is kind of a problem for me to deal with every single time that it happens. So, I guess something like can I even do a post over here? Let me see. This I think I'm not on it's cooldown, probably. Take into consideration that I need like a little bit less of what is this? The fuck is this? Anyways, there was literally no explanation of this, so okay. I understand it instantly. I was missing one word. Uh, I like it because things like what I just said right now are probably not even going to be understood in like um, the next 5 days from now on. If somebody asks what the fuck I was referring to when I made that joke or when I made that comment, and I was being vague about it, I don't know. I don't know. I already forgot what I was trying to talk about. I mean, that's how it works, I guess. That's how memory always works. But that is also the norm. That is supposedly the expected rate of success. No, I don't know how to say it, anyways. The only important thing is that I I never noticed I have that one filler word. We're here, but yeah, basically that we're here. So that is more than enough, at least for me today, right now. Uh, Flare, tags this one. Okay, what's up? Did we crash? No, we didn't. Nice. Uh, close this. But yeah, I mean, meanwhile, I wanted to say, I was thinking that it finally happened. It already feels grating, this one beautiful song that we hear in the introduction, the starting soon screen. So I might try to change it. I might not, but I might. More probably than not really doing it. After all, I think I noticed that it is annoying after how much 5 hours of hearing it at this point or so. It had become a little bit annoying. So yeah, maybe we need a little bit more of variety when it comes to having this. And also, I mean, it isn't that it only exists for something that I have to bear with, but also obviously taking into consideration that I tend to talk a lot instead of here, it will be minimally useful to not have something that um, kind of hinders my voice on one hand and on the other even less is by itself even annoying as it is this one. But I don't know. I mean, I also like it. I think it is a good meme, a good worthwhile meme to always hear. Like, it has become post-ironic, I think it is the category for that. That now it is annoying because we have heard it too much or something like that. But I don't know. I think it just happens. And when it happens, it feels weird. You become self-aware like I did in this case, I guess. Um, why do you tend to try to crash? Let me go with clickbait, and with that, we're done. Let me post this one thing. Close race because it is almost crashing my PC. Missing performance somehow. Uh, okay, we have this. Just in case I will check, but it shouldn't happen that anything should be over here. If I am not wrong, yeah, wrong. But I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really have. Yeah, I don't really have that much to say, so I think it is nice to say it over here. I have noticed that I tend to say wrong, like the double B, in a weird way, and I can't really even explain how it is that I feel like that it is weird. It is like I say it as a B instead of a double B, but I might simply lack a proper attention to this type of details, And that's completely my fault. So, anyways, um, I guess yeah, I need to do, as they say, English reps. This case, sadly, or something like that. You never know. Um, I mean, the reality is always it does have a lot of sides to which it tends to feel minimally minimally good to have the skills um, to a level high enough where you feel like what you or at least what I am providing is nice. And after all, we might have gone past the simple exercise of um, how to say it. I don't really know how to say that. It feels good to be a little bit not so capable of doing something yet know that it is enough. Something like that. I mean, uh, okay, there is enough room for improvement yet that it feels amazing to know that's one particular notion, but also it is kind of weird because it also puts into this whole equation to a certain extent the idea that this is certainly not everything that there is, and that somehow this all should be um, better. And if I am failing to provide something better, it is my fault. But I mean, in that sense, uh, it is true, and it is right that one idea does work like that. So yeah, I don't know. I things that one doesn't really stop to think about that much. I guess a proper excuse for that. I hope. I don't really. Once again, I don't really get to put it into other ideas that much commonly. So when I do try to even work it out, things have a weird shape by default. Let's say. So yeah. Uh, Let me see, my brother. We are over. Okay, let me No, I mean, how much do we have? 10 seconds. No, I can't do anything else. This is a failure from my end, I guess. So, yeah, um, we are stumbling upon stream. Or what is it? Almost falling apart trying to be here. Something like that, basically. And that is unavoidably, crazily enough, weird. So, we do what we can. And if we can't, anyways, we tried our best, heroes, so we take pride on that. Anyways, yeah, we have gone already 30 seconds uh, extra time. So yeah, wow, wow, this is so crazy. Here we are, here we found ourselves once again um, doing this beautiful thing of reading this time around because last time PC, well, not PC, internet said that was enough, so it died out of nowhere. Um, that was funny, I think. That was funny enough, but now, yeah, now we do have to continue. I feel like continuing more properly to say. After all, I always try to do a little bit more than just how many three cantos like we did last time, because it was to a certain extent, it wasn't that good. I was even wrong when it comes to choosing where we should have started and none of that. So it was pretty awful, everything considered, or everything taken into consideration what we did with the last reading session. So yeah, um, sorry, people. I I failed to provide what I should have provided so properly. But anyways, here we are. So that is enough. And that should always be something to take pride on, because try is already better than not even taking responsibility. And wait, I didn't notice that I was talking so low, so sorry for that. But now for real, hello everybody, hello to another occasion, to another session of this time around reading and such things, such menial things that we tend to indulge in this our beautiful place that is um, our garden, or thinking garden. So yeah, once again, hello everyone, hello lurkers, hello bot watchers, hello viewers, hello, welcome once again. And well, as I said before, we left on a weird note because internet decided to crash last time around. I I literally retweeted something and it crashed after that. I wasn't trying to think about it that much, but when I noticed that after I retweeted something it crashed, I felt a little bit weird because that is one of those coincidences that you don't think you are going to observe in any way, you know? So it was weird. But aside from that, everything else was fine, I think. Was sufficiently good so that we had a little bit of exploration of the first, I think it was like 3 4 cantos, um, this continuation, I guess. And yeah, here we are to simply continue with that whole ordeal. After always doing a little bit of simply talking and a piece, a tiny bit of introspection. I don't think it is called introspection, but more like rambling. That is a more proper name, because certainly we're not going over any idea in particular. We're just here, um, standing in the middle of the sea of ideas that do come around, and we simply decide to choose the one that looks the best and ponder on that one for a little bit. After and after a while of doing so, we let it go completely for free. So yeah, here we are, simply to continue doing that on another occasion. And well, last time we were um, we were considering a little bit of what was the educational system, what was um, what were the topics really? I think it was around the educational system. What was the idea behind trying to learn a lot, and what is the different mechanisms found in the daily motions of life? I think something like that was what we talk about. But this time around, I don't really have once again, any particular ideas to which concept we can embark ourselves on. And I accept that it simply happens. I was I don't always try to mention the latest things that I have in mind because this is something that we also talk about. I tend to go into those things that I more than wish to talk about, I simply want to analyze. And we end up kind of forcing everybody to be part of my pondering of those topics, you know? So it does feel a little bit weird to have others hear the own analysis of what is myself, you know? And because of that, I tend to try to not have it so commonly happen that I simply go with the easiest choice at hand. And for the sake of that same concept, sometimes I try to come here with something prepared beforehand. It doesn't really happen that much, nor I make it happen that much, but it is, after all, a nicer method to try and deal with these problems than to just randomly, out of nowhere, find yourself having to come up with something completely new. And this, yeah, we have talked a lot about this with other friends and such, and that is, after all, a very simple way to free yourself of the responsibility, after all, of even trying to decide what is the next thing that you are trying to talk about. Because even if it does, as it does happen in here, we have some occasions in which authors do contribute their ideas and their postures on what we are discussing. It it is an occurrence. It is not the common thing. Let's say. So if this occurrence was to not happen for a long enough period of time, it will simply happen as a consequence of that lack of those type of events that we end up simply drifting into something a lot more meaningless and a lot more formless if one forgets to try to remember or to properly put into not simply a list but more like an orderly mm, guidance of which things one wants to talk about. And I mean, it doesn't really just lead to the conclusions or to topics to fill the silence. It also, and even more with what we do here, I always have considered it does help because when you put your focus into something and you can consistently put your focus in things related to that same thing, you get later on to also experience the bliss that is to know that what you decided to go on about is now a topic that you have extended throughout time and that you almost mm, profess a certain type of not, I don't know if it is mastery or simply skill when it comes to dealing with this time with these same type of ideas. So it does seem very beneficial to try in that sense to dedicate yourself to something particular. It is, yeah, after all, it is simply like another way to say this whole notion or this whole very well known topic or concept of you just can, let's say, try to have a big variety of things that you might go randomly about without ever knowing which one is the next one that is coming to towards you, or you can on the other hand be more appropriately when it comes to deciding what movements are you really going to make. And because you did so to such an extent and you properly decided which idea you were going to go with, now you can say that it was all worth it because you have dedicated so much time to analyzing something particular that, once again, was in your interest, not that simply randomly out of nowhere it happened or it popped out. It was in your interests. Therefore, now you have the capacity of saying that this one thing that you are dealing with is more than interesting enough. And even more, certainly, you can ride on this whole notion or this whole benefit that is because you chose what you're talking about. As long as you did so properly, you can always keep going on this same tangent because it keeps refreshing its own interesting values to you. And for the same sake of this idea, later on you also get to, I think, come up with even more bifurcations of the same concept, something like that. So I can see it as beneficial, I guess. I can see it as good, but I don't know, I don't know. We can kind of segue into the next thing that is because after all, I also tend to have a very weird way of saying things that is to make arguments that make what I am talking about sound so good. And so many times I don't really take into account it that what I am talking about might not really come from the side of me predicating anything truly beneficial to anybody, but rather just, how to say it, leaving my ideas on the background and such for for the sake of making myself look better than what I really have the capacity of when it comes to assimilating that what I am talking about isn't that well known or that well known to myself, let's say like that. So what I end up doing is building up almost strawmans towards different concepts, and by doing so, I sound, after all, unavoidably somewhat knowledgeable when it comes to those ideas. But if somebody who was in the same field decided to analyze what I am saying, they will realize that what I am predicating or what I am quote unquote sharing is indeed false. And I feel like that is a good way to say that certainly it feels sometimes like what I am doing isn't really in my area of expertise. But after all, it also might be very well counterpointed by or counter argumented by the side of this might just be another side of feeling this whole imposter syndrome, basically. Another way to feel that. And because in my case, I supposedly have the tools to analyze myself, I do rationalize it as something that might seem better or might seem more solid, as in, yes, you are completely a fake, Tupo, so you are completely someone who has no no space here and should by no way be part of this, in this case, I guess, community, I don't know, or try to occupy the space that you do at the very least. So yeah, it does feel weird, but after all, it always is a notion that simply exists and that is lurking in the mind. I guess simply the fact that you can also, in this case, if we decide to go with the narrative that this is something along the lines of imposter syndrome, if you do analyze it as something that also is born because of the self, you can always deal most appropriately with problems related to what is your own image based on what others do tell you. And after all, in my case, I think it comes with a side of trying to simply accept what others do tell me that it might as well be. I don't want to say it, but supposedly it is worth it. And supposedly all that I am trying to do has a certain sense and has a certain side to it that feels good. So yeah, I don't know, I don't know. I guess that's the explanation. But once again, um, it gets weird to analyze yourself in such a manner in which you are exposing what are almost your insecurities. But at the same time, partially, the act of doing it is what makes it so relevant. Because when you can integrate into what is your core, yeah, your more whole version of yourself. All the problems that do create you and that do play your past being and gets to solve them in a manner in which you can also now say that you understood them completely, not simply for the sake of knowing them, but for the sake of getting rid of them later on in life. It is by doing that that you can then keep aspiring towards that goal of reaching the quote unquote perfection of the self, something that always obviously is embedded or is surrounded by things that are, by the pure nature of such a desire, impossible to achieve. But at, at the very least, it does feel nice to know or to sense that what you are doing has some sides of usefulness to it, so that you don't get to feel or get to say that what you are now trying to go for is, after all, worth it. Sorry, not worth it. Of, in this case, your time, I guess. But I don't really know. After all, so much analysis always leads to different conclusions about what is the self and such. And when you do take the, in this case, the responsibility of analyzing what is your own image, and even more, try to make it so that it doesn't collide with the objective of trying to create an even bigger one or an even better one. By doing so, you are kind of accepting the weight of your own desires. That is the constant fight of what is now the goal or another added goal to what is yourself. And by doing so, in these cases, I believe that, well, maybe I haven't really thought about this. I mean, at this point, I am really simply saying what comes to my mind the very next second. I think it might as well be simply another way to work yourself towards getting rid of the different problems that are you. Because even if you feel bad by dealing with your problems, by the simple desire of dealing with them, or the simple desire of trying to deal with them, you're accepting that you have them, and you accept that you have to face them in any way. And even if you are in the reality not being capable of, in this case, dealing with such a thing, you're already in the pathway towards working for that so-called primal desire, I think. So that already is more than beneficial. But also, yeah, that's basically. Hello, Savannah. Welcome, welcome. Here we are. So far, it is only me rambling. I don't even know what will be the point here. I think it is something like a theory as to why, at this point, it is worth it to keep uh, accepting the different problems that we have, I guess. I don't know. I I said it before. I don't know where I am trying to go with this. I simply, this one idea was literally born right now. We are seeing what happens if we follow this one pathway of thinking, I guess. But yeah, here we are. Welcome. Welcome. If it isn't clear, welcome. Um, yeah, I have one thing to deal with. Give me a second. I want to, one second. Okay, I'm back. Oh man, I almost died. Man, that was something. Ah, I hate insects, anyways. I killed a little cockroach, but we're fine. Man, what a what a disgusting thing. Anyways, um, I saw what you said. I mean, I don't know. I was going to say probably you were taught enough English to know how to have a basic conversation. Maybe not. I don't really know. I wouldn't say that I do understand how it is taught Spanish in other countries, and even less. You're not from USA, so certainly I don't know how it is on Netherlands that it works. But you can try to always make sense by the most basic way, and I will still get it. After all, Spanish is my main language, so I can pretty much what is it? Feel the words, let's say, or feel the certain sentences that you are trying to make up and such, so that even if they're still in a broken Spanish, the message itself can be conveyed to a certain extent to me. But we only will know if you try it, you know? But yeah, I that was disgusting, man. Ah, we were fine. At the very least, I dealt with the bug that was over here. Ah, but oh man, what a what a situation that was. I mean, sometimes it does happen that out of nowhere insects do appear. Ah, you're watching Broken English at night? Yeah, I mean, it certainly happens. Certainly, certainly. I do have a lot of broken English in me, so it it works like that. As you can understand me, I can also do the same with you. After all, because this, I think it is the gist of what I am mentioning, is understandable enough, even if the sentences themselves are completely um, what is it, grammatically broken or incorrect. You get what I'm trying to go for when I make a certain phrase or when I make a certain, yeah, after all, a certain assertion with my words. The same thing, Spanish, basically. It always can work like that. Um, well, I mean, there is a big difference between simply an American and me. Yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. I I do observe a lot of. After all, when you deal with so much media that is born out of English-speaking countries, you deal with so many accents and such, and people doesn't really appreciate that there isn't that much of a high entry level when it comes to speaking English. So it does feel nice to see that even on the quote unquote most famous country when it comes to English, they don't even speak it all that well. But yeah, yeah. Um, Spanish American. I mean, yeah, yeah, I understand it. I mean, after all, I certainly haven't lost the accent, but I think I have a little bit of a basic English. So yeah, certainly it will work as a very good compliment. So thank you. But yeah, yeah, yeah. The intention is always to not sound so mm, bad when it comes to speaking English, and at the very least, that I avoided what I feared the most. That was to get told that I sounded a little bit Russian, because after all, I do have my Argentinian accent on English here, so I don't avoid rolling the R's and such as an Argentinian does. So it does happen that I felt a little bit of anxiety if that were to happen, but it does feel nice to know that I still pass a very tiny amount enough to not be fully recognizable, but you still can notice it after some minimal hearing. So that's still something we have to work on, I guess. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Here we are. That's everything that matters. That we can still try to communicate, and it somehow works. That is the best. That is the excellent part of this. That although this isn't the best English, this isn't the best quality, all of this works, and that is more than sufficient for me. Um, I I feel like, you know. But yeah, let me drink some water. I need to calm down. Okay. Um, I don't know. There it is. Nice hydration as always, but I guess that's simply part of the process to learn that you have imperfections and to keep working on them in that same sense. That to observe that I certainly don't possess such a high level of English that I can uh, confidently speak it, or not confidently. I do have a little bit of confidence on me, but I can properly speak it in front of someone who isn't no, who is native from any English main language country, but it is good enough so that it can have a good conversation going on. Um, I don't know. I think it is worth it to have it like that probably. But why do I get so many ads? Are you are you here with us? I mean that is a good question. Are you here or are you in ads? I think this is ads time. Ads time. Yeah. This is this is the bliss of being in ads. For a minute and a half almost nobody really gets to know what I am saying here. So I can I mean not that nobody gets to know. Sadly, not sadly. This is only something that we share between the bot watchers and me, you know. So um, it is always nice to hear about you, bot watchers. As always, thank you for being here. But yeah, now let me continue. I think the ads is a problem between there is this one function that is pre-roll ads that you can somehow deactivate. Um, Let me see. I think I can try to deactivate them by running ads themselves somehow. That is one thing that you have to do manually, but all the other ads you need to simply have faith in the system that it will run it by themselves and that it won't overwhelm anybody with ads. Here we have like a 1 minute and a half of ads every single hour, I think it is. So it translates to like, let me see, it is supposedly like one every half an hour or so. No, one, okay, 1 minute and 30 of ads every 27 minutes. Exactly like that, it works. And after every single 27 minutes, it rolls supposedly 1 minute and a half of ads. Supposedly. It can still fail to work, as it does in my case so many times. Um, 20 seconds of ads this hour, yeah. It is random like that. I don't. I get. Yeah, one still gets to decide as always, but it doesn't really is all that correct when it comes to saying, well, this person needs exactly to run this many ads. Sometimes it does run them for longer, sometimes it doesn't even happen. So there is no real way for me to know how much time anybody gets ads. I simply get to know if they say it or not, like you did. But there is no other way for me to ascertain that there are. Well, yeah, I can see that there are ads running in the ad manager thingy of Twitch, but those once again, those are not all that correct. Sometimes it is less, and I don't know. I don't know. You can, yeah, probably. I mean, I think it is better to use just in case, but sometimes we utilize sarcasm and parody, so such things are to be taken into consideration. Um, it will be completely bad if you did so. So please try to not even use something like AdBlock and try to not use those browsers that natively integrate ad blockers inside of them, because many of those not only have their own ad blockers but also have ad blockers that do, yeah, do possess a lot of tools even more advanced than those natively, no, not natively, open to the public, because they are designed to try and catch you with those better designs of ad blocking tools. So yeah, you can not do it. You shouldn't even think about doing it. I obviously wouldn't even recommend something like Brave if it were to come to that essence. Um, but yeah, I don't think that what you are saying also is correct after all. Um, because reasons, I think. But yeah, after all, you shouldn't try to do it. And sadly, there is no way for me to stop you from doing it, you know? But yeah, yeah. Uh, I think I can say it at the very least that um, not having to deal with so many ads is good. Um, so yeah, at least I can say that. You can always, no, you shouldn't try to look out for ad blockers that do work. And the most famous ones will probably provide so sufficiently enough. But yeah, yeah, I, I mean, in my case, I also do so that I wouldn't feel sad if I did utilize an outlook. In the case that I did, so the thing that I don't. But yeah, um, you know, um, it is more than enough. Um, to deal with them already. So to avoid a little bit of ads is good. I think, okay, I can say this one. This one I can really say it. At the very least, you can try to subscribe. Supposedly, it should supposedly avoid you having ads. Supposedly. We are not so sure about it because I have heard a lot of people still complain about ads, even if they are subbed. So I can't say anything about it. But yeah. Also, in the sense of what you said, I sorry for letting this one go. Yeah, I wouldn't really feel pressured into giving anybody money, even less myself. It is already more than enough to know that anybody's here, because after all, this is preciously enough a good method for me to do something worth it. And if there is somebody on the other end, let's say, receiving what is being produced, it is more than fulfilling to know that this works in any way. And I think yeah, I can confidently say that you have provided to me with enough of a notion that somebody out there might at some point had an interest in what was being made here. That it, even if there was no real money transaction, it was more than gratifying, you know? So there is no real need to worry about not having money. And also, to add to this same idea, something that I heard very recently that was very logical after all. Is we don't really have nowadays that much money to spend, even more because we are, after all, the big majority of Twitch users very young, even if 20 isn't that young and such, but we are young, and it is always better to try and take money from the big companies, from the big multi-million companies that don't really mind losing, I don't know, $10 or so from having to pay an indie potato in my case, you know? So that is something can be seen as more fulfilling than worrying yourself if you have the money or not. Already enjoying what is being made here is gratifying for me. And yeah, that is kind of the response that I think properly answers your doubt or your idea of feeling like um you should try to have money for this, you know. After all, well, I think I said it once. If this was really something that I so fervently wanted to monetize, we wouldn't be doing this for free and all of those things. There are certainly, and even more nowadays, a lot of ways in which you can get people to pay for the content that you make. And this is in no way something like that. And obviously, it shouldn't even need to be like that. Because after all, it almost defeats the main purpose of this, that is to enjoy what is being created with everyone. So, yeah, um, do not worry about money. Do not stress about it. I think we can always, quote unquote, stay clean from worrying about money when it comes to these things. After all, I mean, it doesn't seem that much, but already enough, and even more taking into consideration that you certainly have to deal with those. Everybody who watches ads is contributing 10 cents because I think it is like 10 cents or so from every time that somebody watches ads, and that is throughout the long run for somebody like me more than enough. More than enough, because certainly the conversion rate from dollars to Argentinian peso is very noticeable, and I don't have to deal with taxes and all of that because somehow it is not registered something taxable, because Argentinian system is not broken by any means. So I almost get it. More strapped for cash. Yeah, the same thing. Once again, literally no obligation. It will be um, it will be dishonest. Yeah, dishonest for me to say, oh wow, you wish to contribute money. That will be so good. Please, when you can do it. No, literally no obligation to do so. Almost almost the contrary. It is always better to spend money on things that you really do enjoy and things that you really not only enjoy, get a real benefit from. I can't provide anything more for a monetary value that you would give me. And although it still represents a very nice way to show that you somehow feel appreciation for this, I can't really give you anything else that will justify your spendings here, sadly. So it is, in these cases, completely logical to not even think about doing it. Please take care of other things, you know? Um, um, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it simply happens like that. I guess. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I think people tends to react like that, I guess. Let me think how to say it. Okay, I don't know you that much, but let's suppose that if your attitude towards the streamers wasn't appropriate, it would be logical for you to get banned. But so far here, I don't see it justified. So I can say that, wow, yeah, you you will buy or you will spend your money meaninglessly here. I don't really get to stay. So far, it has been a pretty nice interaction what we had here, and I can say so far that yeah, I wouldn't say or I wouldn't think about, oh wow, I got the money out of this person. Time to fucking ban them and move on to my next target to rob them out of some more money. You know, think that some people do. Like if they were even almost scammers or something like that. Ah, but yeah, yeah. Basically, that's the thing. Don't worry. There is literally no obligation. Ah, eh, to hmm? don't don't mistreat others, my man. Don't mistreat others or my lad. No, lad is also man. I think. Yeah, I think I don't remember. Um, but anyways, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think it simply happens like that. So yeah, let me 1 second. Let me drink some water. I was okay. I was thinking about this, and I have remembered that supposedly we are close to. Oh, okay. Good night, Savannah. 1 second. Thank you for being here. Um, That's well. It is obviously late, so you should uh, be heading to bed, please. But thank you. Um, um, yeah, yeah. I was saying. I was thinking about this, and I was pondering out something that we kind of avoided talking about, although it seems pretty obvious. That is, um, we are supposedly close to the Third World War, supposedly, and I have been considering all of these different ideas because they certainly seem interesting for me to try and analyze, in the sense of I might have heard this since I was almost like 12, and sometimes it gets made even worse. We have almost a tendency towards making things seem, yeah, not so, not so good always, and we end up having this tendency towards um, beginning what are some problems that always exist around the world. In this case, for example, we have a lot of political situations going with Europe itself and with Middle East and all of those parts of the world, and obviously also with Asia and such. So we supposedly do have enough things to consider as um, initiate, yeah, initiators ini- initiators to what is the Third World War, supposedly. But the reality is, you always had problems existing, and you always had things going bad, and you always had a lot of bad events always occurring throughout the world. And we haven't so far really found ourselves in the Third World War as it was supposedly meant to happen um, years ago or such things. I think in that sense we are simply not right now, but we have, as I said before, we have this tendency towards believing that we always are in a bad position and that we are nearing the worst situation possible. That will be obviously in this case the world war itself, instead of simply having conflicts that do always happen in this case and that do certainly have a lot of sides to them that have problems and that do contain a lot of negative sides to it, but we don't really have that many negative things truly happening. We don't have that many problems that do provide us with the notion that we are really going to war, let's say. And I think the fear itself that kind of humanity has towards something of such a scale will should supposedly limit us from doing so. But the main idea here is not simply to justify if we are really going to or not to war, but more like I feel like sometimes what happens is we create a narrative that makes it seem so important because by believing that we are going into a new world war, you get to justify living so carefree when it comes to yourself and leaving so many things that are or if of importance to your own existence behind the excuse this time around of because we are going to a bad end or because we are heading towards a bad position in the world, we supposedly don't have the responsibilities that are really in our hands in this case of um, having a real goal. Because after all, this feels okay. This feels like another way of nihilism that takes control of the people because you decided to believe the narrative that we are going to kill each other very soon. Therefore, because of such things, we don't really wish to be, not to believe, to see ourselves as those who can avoid such consequences, or that in the case of that not happening, the most probable thing, in the case of that not even happening, what really should be valuable and important to us is the notion that we need to still do something with what is ourselves, and we still need to try and become anything minimally worth it of existing in this world, as in a sense, how to say it, make efforts because even if we, okay, it will be the same that if you are frozen because you think that the third world war is coming, you are to a certain extent just imitating what happens when you realize that you will get to die at some point in life. You're never really knowing when you're going to die. You, in this case, don't even know or have the capacity of predicting if we're going into a third world war in this case. And by excusing yourself behind such quote unquote unavoidable problems, you now get to say that you don't have these responsibilities anymore. But the reality is that is simply another mechanism by which we avoid dealing with all of these notions and all of these sides to us. And that is a big problem that does exist in society, I think, and does always prevail in some form or another. Because this whole narrative of we are having all of these incredibly huge problems that, and yeah, I mean, for the average civilian, are completely unavoidable. How can you, as a civilian, expect to avoid going to war? You can you can't really find out how that might get solved from your position as a complete nobody. How can you expect something like that to get solved by you? So what you get implanted in you is mm, a sense of hopelessness that deprives you out of the capacity of really striving to achieve any meaningful thing that you might be capable of doing so. Because after all, the end is near, supposedly, and bad things are ensured to you, supposedly, and you're going to meet your end, and you're going to get to a bad place, supposedly, and in this case, it all, as I said before, feels to be very similar or with a very, very high level of resemblance to that of those moments in which you deal with the notion that you are going to die. You don't even know if that is something that you should be working yourself up so much, because even if you're going to die, we are probably incredibly young to worry about it if it were to happen naturally. And if it were to happen naturally, you literally have a whole life in front of you. By worrying about things that are so outside of your control, you don't get to live and to work towards the things that you did consider worth it. And you, as I said before, I think I pose it as the yeah, the problem being the society. I don't think it is really simply the society. Um, but in a manner of speech, you can say that this whole narrative does suffice to deprive people out of the desire to get to any place other than just survival or minimal survival. Because, yeah, I didn't really think about this one that much, huh? But yeah, you can see it pretty much existing in a lot of places. If you have taken already the stance that, well, this one situation is going to be completely unavoidable, what you're doing is getting yourself set up to not be part of the process itself anymore. Because now you really believe that what you are doing is nothing, and that what you are going to be capable of doing is nothing, you know? And I don't know, I think it is simply like we worry too much with a picture that is so big that it literally doesn't take into account what is ourselves, I think. And because of such a thing, we, in this case, I said it before, end up not being capable of expressing ourselves in the world and being part of it as it should be, in a sense of, after all, I think it is worth it to exist, and it is worth it to try and have a dream and work towards that dream and such. But if you decide to take this one idea of, well, things are near the end, or things are going to probably go wrong, and I can't do anything, how can you say that you're really working? And how can you say that you're really making efforts towards something if, even if it is only quote unquote deep inside you, you have a real belief that things are of such a negative nature? I think I think it is that I don't know. So far I have found kind of the wall here of such negative ideas do limit what is our capacity of existing in the world, and I don't really know how to keep developing that one. Sorry, but yeah, something of that sort does seem very, very striking to me as certainly negative. It doesn't really need to be that much of a problem, because once again, we are overworrying ourselves too much with things that are completely outside of our control. It is, I mean, with okay, I said that I said to die, and in reality, you can kind of worry yourself with dying because it will unavoidably happen. But something that is more resembling to what is a third world war, supposedly, is the concept of the complete heat universe. Yeah, the complete death of what is the death of the universe. The complete death of the universe, where it collapses back on itself, supposedly. And you are not even going to be there, probably. And you're not even going to be part of such a thing. And you're not even going to be part of such a concept anymore. You're not going to exist anymore into such a to be part of such a process. And because we believe sometimes that such problems are so imminent in our lives, we do get frozen up by fear. I think. I mean, yeah, probably kind of is that is a good way to see it. That by dreaming of something that does give you a sense of rebirth, it makes it worth. I don't really know. I don't really know. Um, yeah, I don't really know. I think that's the idea. I guess my notion that is that one. Also, wait. Now that we were talking about this before, I saw it. Supposedly, ads starting soon. So yeah, supposedly. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I will say something like probably we tend to over worry. Um, we tend to go to bad things and such because we have a tendency towards um, negatively aspiring and negatively focusing on only on the bad things. So such things are part of the human nature, I guess. But what is in our hands is to notice these type of patterns and to notice that the negativity is almost a pre-existing concept in our life and such. So the responsibility of dealing with them and not letting those notions that supposedly bad things are somehow ensured to happen, um, not letting those feelings get control of ourselves. Uh, by doing that, it is that we can ensure the attainment of our goals. Because if we decided that what we did was worth it despite all of the other problems that do exist in the world, it will all take a different um, picture. No, point point of view. I think that is kind of the word here. It changes how it feels because now you accept that although there are many problems on the horizon, you have reasons to keep going, and those reasons more than enough justify what you are doing. After all, you are once again a being capable of seeing yeah, the worthwhile side of everything instead of losing yourself on the minimal problems that do exist but that might never really involve your existence at all. I think I don't know. I don't know. I might simply be re- re- regurgitating what I was thinking, what I was learning about, sorry, before. Maybe. So yeah, I don't know this one. But yeah, that is the whole idea, I think. Um, ah, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It happens like that, I guess. Um, so yeah, I think now for real, we can we can start with the Mahabharata. I guess I don't have anything more to say so far. I hope. So let me. Oh my God, that was I cracked like a rotten potato. What? Let me get over here and let me see if we can finally start reading. Um, okay, I almost crashed. Nice. Um, so yeah, here we are. After 1 hour and 10 minutes, finally starting with the reading session. Um, um, Yeah, no problem, Savannah. Please rest. And even more after all the mental exertion that you had to do today. Please go and get some rest. Thank you for being here. But please, once again, as I said it before, resting is more important. Thank you. Um, okay, there it is. We have this properly set up. Now, I only need to do one thing, that is to change a scene. Ah, so we left, quote unquote left, here. Canto 83. That is Tirtha Yatra Parva. Um, Before internet said no more reading for today. Um, but yeah, we were in the analysis of this whole story about. Ah, yeah, okay. We were simply starting with Yudhishthira and the rest of the Pandavas getting to learn about what was happening or what. No, I mean, what was this? I think it was something. Uh, I don't. Yeah, there was a weird question on this one. Let me search for that one. There was a very weird question that I didn't even get when it comes to trying to comprehend what it was talking about. Because Narada, as in a main figure of the Mahabharata, appeared, and Yudhishthira had the possibility of getting all his doubts solved because Narada told him to do so. He decided to ask something completely weird, and I don't even know what this is about. Um, the question is, yeah, this was an incredibly long canto. Um, Here, the question was, tell me in detail about the Tirthas, oh you who are like a Deva. What is the punya of a man who goes round the earth visiting the sacred Tirthas and shrines? Oh, answer me this with certainty. And that was completely out of place, I thought. I have yet to decipher what is this about, because this ended up talking about how many different things gives you happiness and gives you this main concept of the Mahabharata, a punya, blessings, and dharma, and karma, and whatever. I don't get it. I don't get at all what is one canto is about. That is what we left on. Um, but yeah, that is what we have. Yeah, what we saw before dying last time. Now we have to continue into the next one and observe what is going to be this now about. I don't even have an idea. So yeah, um, we might as well simply continue. Canto 82 was all of that telling. Now we can. Oh man, oh man, we have still more readings about this. Yeah. Anyways, continuing. Canto 83. Tirthayatra Parva continuing. Pulastya said, one should next travel to Tiatoro, Kurukshetra, the site of which can free any creature at all from all sins. Why? A man who says, I will live in Kurukshetra constantly is set free from his sins. The very dust of Kurukshetra, blown by the wind, leads a sinful man to a blessed course in life and the afterlife. Deites dwell in Kurukshetra, which lies to the south of the Saraswati and to the north of the Drishatwati, are said to dwell in heaven. O greatest of Kshatriyas, one should remain there for a month. There, Lord of Earth, the gods with Brahma at their head, the Rishis, the Siddhas, the Charanas, the Gandharvas, the Apsaras, the Yakshas and the Nagas come often, O Bharata, to the most holy Brahmakshetra. The sins of one who merely wishes fervently to visit Kurukshetra are all destroyed. Ah, And he finally goes into the world of Brahma, Kurunandana, by visiting Kurukshetra in a pious frame of mind. One obtains the fruit of the Rajasuya and Aswamedha Yagna. Hmm? Next, the Tirthayatri salutes the Yaksha Mankana, Kubera's mighty Dwavaparalaka, and gains the punya of giving away 1,000 holy cows. After this, one should repair to the excellent realm of Vishnu, where Hari is always present, bathing there and bowing down to Hari, the creator of the three worlds. One obtains the fruit of the Aswamedha and goes to the abode of Vishnu. One should next go to Pariplava, that Tirtha celebrated across the three worlds, and bathing there, O Bharata, one finds punya that is greater than that of the Agnistoma and the Atiratra sacrifices. Journeying next to the Tirtha called Prithivi, one gets the fruit of a gift of 1,000 kine. The pilgrim should next travel to Salukini and bathing there in the Disaswamedha, one gains the punya, the merit of 10 horse sacrifices. Going on to Sarpadevi, most excellent theatre of the Nagas, one acquires the merit of the Agnistoma Yagna and attains to the realm of the Nagas. After this, the pilgrim goes to Tarantuka, the gatekeeper, and staying there for one night, he gains the merit of giving away 1,000 sacred cows. On he goes, with subdued senses and his foot regulated, to Panchananda, and bathing in the Tirtha called Koti, one gains the fruit of the horse sacrifice. Proceeding to the Tirtha of the twin Aswins, he gets great personal beauty, virtuous one. One should next go to the fine Tirtha called Baraha, where Vishnu once stood in the form of a boar. Bathing there, O best of men, one gains the merit of the horse sacrifice. One should next repair to the Tirtha called Soma in Hayanti. Bathing there, one acquires the merit of the Rajasuya sacrifice. By bathing in Ekahamsa, a man obtains the punya of giving away 1,000 cows. A pilgrim who goes to Kritasaucha gains the lotus-eyed Lord Vishnu and perfect purity of soul. After this, he should go on to Monhavata, a place sacred to the Illuminous Sthanu. Remaining there without eating for one night, he acquires the condition of Ganapatiya. Then there is the celebrated Tirtha Yakshini, bathing at which a man attains the fruition of all his desires. Bharatari that Tirtha is regarded as the gateway of Kurukshetra. His mind absorbing dhyana, the pilgrim should walk around it. Equal to the Pushkaras, it was created by the household Rama, the son of Hamadagni, bathing there and worshipping the ancestors and the gods. One gains the punya of the horse sacrifice and becomes successful in everything. Next, the rapt pilgrim goes on the Ramarada. There, as we have heard, the heroic Rama of resplendent energy exterminated the Kshatriyas with his might, dug 5 lakes and filled them, O tiger among them, O tiger among men, with the blood of his victims, and having filled those lakes with Kshatriya blood, Rama offered oblations of blood to his sires and grandsires. Gratified, those rishis then addressed Rama, O Rama, Rama, O you of great fortune, we are pleased with you, O you of the Brigu race, for this your regard for the beaters, and for your prowess, O exalted one, be blessed, and ask for the boons of your choice. What is it that you want, O you of great splendor? Rama folded his hands to the mains in the sky and said, if you are pleased with me, and I deserve your favor, O Peters, let me have the joy of doing the Pasi again. Let me also, through your power, be freed from the sin of fraud I have committed of exterminating the Reshatria race. Also, let these my legs become Tirthas celebrated the world over. Gratified, joyful to hear him, the Peters answered him, let your tapasya increase because of the regard for the Peters. You have exterminated the Kshatriyas in wrath. You're already free from that sin, for they are perished from their own crimes. Have no doubt, these legs of yours shall become Tirthas, and if anyone bathed in these legs, offering Tarpana to the mains, they will grant him his desire in this world, however difficult it might be, and also eternal bliss. Having granted him these boons, the beaters joyfully saluted Rama of the Brigus and vanished. It was thus that the legs of the illustrious Rama became sacred. Keeping Brahmacharya and observing sacred vows, one should bathe in the legs of Rama. Bathing there and worshipping Rama, one obtains the merit of a gift of gold in abundance. What? The pilgrim next takes himself, O Kurunandana, to Bamsamulaka, and by bathing there, uplifts and exalts all his race. What's going on? Going after this to the Tirtha Kayasodhana, and bathing there, he purifies his body and ascends to the realm of unrivaled grace. He next repairs to the Tirtha, celebrated across the three worlds, called Lokotwara, where once Vishnu, of great prowess, created the worlds, arriving at the Tirtha, which is adored by the three worlds, and bathing there, one earns many lofty worlds for oneself. Mind subdued, he goes next to the Tirtha, known as Sri, bathing there, worshipping the gods and mains, he acquires great felicity. Sworn to Brahmacharya, absorbed in dhyana, he should next take himself to Kapila Tirtha, bathing there and worshipping one's own ancestors and the devas, a man earns the fruit of the gift of 1,000 Kapila cows. Repairing next to the Tirthakal Surya and bathing there, heart quietened and worshipping the Peters and the Devas, fasting all the while, he gains the punya of the Agnistoma sacrifice and goes finally to the Suryaloka, realm of the sun. The pilgrim travels next to Gobhavana and bathing there obtains the merit of the gift of 1,000 kine. O son of the Gurus, he next journeys to the Tirthakal Shankini and bathing in the Devi Tirtha that is there gains awesome prowess. O Kshatriya, he shall go next then to the Tirthakal Tarandaka situated in the Saraswati and belonging to the illustrious chief of the Yakshas, who is one of the gatekeepers of Kubera. Bathing there, he gains the punya of the Agnistoma Yagna. Virtus Guru, one should next go to the Tirthakal Brahmavarta. Bathing in Brahmavarta, one ascends to the abode of Brahma. After this, he seeks the sacred Tirtha, Sutirtha. Here, the Peters are ever present along with the Devas. One should bathe here and worship the mains of the gods. By doing so, eh? By so doing, one acquires the punya of the horse sacrifice and goes into the realm of the Peters. This is why the Sutirtha in Ambumati is regarded as being so auspicious. And Bharatotama, bathing in the Kasiswara Tirtha, a man is set free from every disease and is adored in Brahmaloka. There, in that Tirtha, is another called Matri. One who bathes in the Matri Tirtha has many children and finds great fortune. The pilgrim next goes, in self-restraint, to the Tirtha called Sitavana, whose punya has been observed to be rare and such as hardly any other owns. He who merely goes there becomes holy. O Bharata, by offering his hair in that Tirtha, the pilgrim acquires great sanctity. In that tirtha is another called Swab Swal what? Swabilomapaha. What? Let me try again. In that tirtha is another called Swamilopaha, where all tiger among men, learned Brahmanas go to obtain profound satisfaction by bathing in its waters, offering their hair in this tirtha. Too, good Brahmanas acquire holiness through pranayama and attain a lofty spiritual state. In that tirtha is also another called Dasaswamadhika, by bathing in which to an exalted spiritual condition can be attained. One should next proceed to the famed tirtha called Manusha, where once a herd of black antelope wounded by a hunter's arrows plunged into its waters, and they were transformed into human beings. Bathing in the tirtha while observing continents and with one's mind focused in dhyana, a man is freed from all his sins and is worshipped in heaven. Korosa to the east of Manusha is the renowned river Apaga that the Cid has resort to. The man who offers Siamaka grain here in honor of the gods and the mains acquires great religious merit. If one Brahmana is fed here, it is equal to feeding 10 million Brahmanas. Having bathed in that tirtha and worshipped the devas and the bitters, and staying there for one night, a man gains the merit of the Agnishtoma. Then, O Bharata, the pilgrim shall go to that auspicious theatre of Brahma, known as Brahmodombara, bathing in the tank of the seven rishis, which is there, O Bulavo man, with his diet and mind restrained, as also in the Tirtha Kedara of the great soul Kapila, and beholding Brahma, who is there, the pilgrim's soul is purified of every sin, and he goes to the abode of Brahma. Also, by burning his sins through performing tapasya at the almost inaccessible Kedara Tirtha of Kapila, he acquires the siddhi of being able to vanish at will. The pilgrim continues his journey and goes to the renowned Tirtha called Saraka, and seeing Mahadeva there on the 14th day of the dark fortnight, he gets everything he might wish for, and also goes to heaven. O son of the Guru race, in Saraka and Rudragoti, and in the well and the lakes that are there, 30 million Tirthas are present. That place is another Tirtha called Ilaspada. After bathing there and worshipping the gods and the ancestors, one will never sink into hell, but gain the merit of the Bahapeya Yagna. Repairing next to the Kindana and and King Hapia, the pilgrim gains the punya of giving away boundless charity as also an infinite recitation of prayers. Once he journeys to the Galasi Tirtha and bathing there devoutly, his senses under control, he gains the fruit of the Agnishtoma. To the east of Saraka is an auspicious Tirtha, Ambahamna, of the Mahatma Narada. He that based there, O Bharata, finds, after dying, many unrivaled realms of glory at the command of Narada Muni. Next, on the 10th day of the light fortnight, the pilgrim shall go to the Tirtha called Pundarika. Bathing there, he gains the fame, eh, merit of the Pundarika Yagna. After this, he must go to the Tirtha called Trivistapa, famed through the three walls. In that tirtha flows the sin-destroying river Baitarani. Bathing there and adoring the god known by the mark of the bull who holds the trident in his hand, the pilgrim's soul is washed of every sin, and he attains to the highest state. Then he proceeds to the excellent Paralakivana in the holy tirtha. In this holy tirtha, the devas performed a tapasya of many thousand years. One should then go on to the Drishatwati. Bathing there and worshipping the gods, one obtains Bharata punya which is superior to that of both the Agnishtoma and the Atiratra sacrifices. Bathing in that Sarvadeva Tirtha, a man acquires the punya of giving away 1,000 cows. Bathing next in the Panikata Tirtha and worshipping all the gods, a man finds punya superior to that of both the Agnistoma and the Atiratra sacrifices, besides acquiring that of the Rahasuya Yagna. And finally, he attains the realm of the highest rishis, Dharmat- Dharmatma. After this, one must visit Themis Rakatirtha. There, old tiger among kings, as I have heard, the great soul Vyasa, for the sake of the Brahmanas, has mingled all the tirthas. He, therefore, that bathed in Nisaraka, bathes in all the tirthas. What? What is. What? What is this? Mind and senses are restrained. The yatri goes next to the tirtha Vyasabana. Bathing in the sacred waters of the Manohabater, he gains the punya of the gift of 1,000 cows. He goes on to the Devi Tirtha, which is in Madhubati. Whoever bathes here and worships the mains and the gods receives the spiritual merit of a gift of 1,000 cows through the grace of the goddess. He who then bathes at the confluence of the Kausiki and the Drishadwati is freed from all his sins. He proceeds to Vyasa's Thali, where Vyasa of great intelligence, burning with grief for his son, had resolved to cast off his body, but was put in good heart again by the gods. Here, the pilgrim gains the merit of the making a gift of 1,000 kinds. Journeying on to the sacred well called Kintata, he who cuts a measure of sesame into it is freed from all his debts and finds success. Bathing in the tirtha called Bedi, one obtains the merit of making a gift of 1,000 cows. There are two other celebrated tirthas called Ahas and Sudira. Bathing there, Purusha Viagra, one goes to the realm of the sun. The pilgrim continues to the tirtha called Nrigamdhuma, that is celebrated throughout the three worlds. Here he bathes in the Ganga, worships Mahadeva, and gains the punya of the Aswamedha Yagna. Bathing next in the Devi Tirtha, there he obtains the merit of the gift of 1,000 sacred cows. He goes on to Vamanaka, also celebrated across the three worlds. Bathing there in Vishnupada and worshipping Vamana, his soul is purified from every sin, and he goes to the abode of Vishnu. Bathing next in Kulampuna, one sanctifies one's race, going after this to Papanahrada, that great tirtha of the Marutas, and bathing there, old tiger among men, one becomes adored in the realm of the wind god. Bathing in the Amara in the Amarahrada and worshipping Indra with devotion, the pilgrim becomes adored in Devaloka, and he will sit in a scintillating Vimana and course through the sky in the company of the immortals. Oh, best of great men, bathing next with due rites in the Tirtha called Sali Surya of Salihotra, he acquires the punya of the gift of 1,000 kinds. Bharatotama. There is another Tirtha called Serikungha in the Saraswati. Bathing there, one gains the merit of the Agnistoma sacrifice. The pilgrim goes next to Naimishakuncha. Let me say this again. The pilgrim goes next to Naimishakuncha. In days of yore, the rishis who performed tapasya in the Naimisha Vana took the vows of pilgrimage and went to Kurukshetra. There, on the banks of the Saraswati, a tapovana was created, which served as a resting place for them and which pleased them greatly. Bathing in the Saraswati in that sacred grove, one obtains the merit of the Agnistoma sacrifice. O virtues, one should go after this to the excellent Kanya Tirtha. Bathing there, one obtains the merit of the gift of 1,000 kinds. Then on to the Tirtha of Brahma. Bathing there, a person of the inferior Varnas becomes a Brahmana, and if he is already a Brahmana, his soul is purified of every sin, and he attains moksha. After this, the pilgrim journeys to the auspicious Somatirtha, bathing at which place he gains the world of Soma. The yatri now proceeds to the tirtha called Saptarasa. What? Saptarasas. Sapta Saraswata. Okay, the yatri now proceeds to the tirtha called Saptasaraswata, where he, where the renowned Rishi Mankana. What are these names, my man? What are you doing? This is pain. Let me rephrase this. Where the renowned Rishi Mankanaka found ascetic success, as I have heard, in olden days, Mankanaka cut his hand with a pointed blade of kusa grass, upon which from his wounds flows not blood but vegetable sap. Seeing this, his eyes wide with wonder, the sage began to dance, and as the Rishi danced, all the mobile and immobile creatures, overwhelmed by his power, began to dance with him. Then the devas with Brahma at their head and rishis of Vastapasya said to Mahadeva, Lord, you must stop the sage from dancing. His heart full of joy, Shiva went to the dancing rishi and said, Maharishi, most virtuous one, why do you dance? O bull among munis, what can be the reason for this great joy? The rishi answered, O best of Brahmanas, I am an ascetic who treads the path of Dharma. Do you not see that vegetable sap flows from the wound in my hand? This fills me with great joy, and I dance. The rishi, blinded by emotion, the god laughingly said, Oh, Brahmana, I do not wonder at this. Look at me. Mahadeva made a cut on his own thumb with the nail of his forefinger, and lo, from the wound there came ashes white as snow. Seeing this, the Muni became ashamed and fell at Shiva's feet, and believing that there was nothing better and greater than the god Rudra, he began to hymn him. O Trisuling, you are the refugee of the Devas and the Asuras of, indeed, the universe. You have created the three worlds with all their beings, mobile and unmoving. It is you again that swallow everything at the end of the Yuga. Not the gods themselves can know you, far less me. O sinless one, the Devas with Brahma at their head are all rebuilding you. You are all, the Creator Himself and the Ordainer of the worlds. It is by your grace that all the gods sport without anxiety or fear. Devadeva, God of gods, grant me your grace, so that my tapasya may not diminish. The god replied, Brahmana, let your tapasya increase 1,000-fold through my grace. Great Muni, I will dwell with you in this your asrama. Those who bathe here in Samta Saraswata and worship me will attain everything here and hereafter, and without doubt they shall all attain finally to the realm of Saraswata. With that, Mahadeva vanished. After visiting Saraswata, one should travel on to Ausanasa, also famed throughout the three worlds. There, Bharata, the gods with Brahma before them, and rishis endowed with a wealth of asceticism, and the illustrious Kartikeya are always present during the two twilights and midday, impelled by the desire to do good to Bhargava. In that tirtha is another called Kapalamochana, which cleanses one from every sin. O tiger among men, bathing there, the taint of all one's sins vanish. The pilgrim should then proceed to the tirtha called Agni. Bathing there, Purusharishabha, one obtains the words of Agni and exhales his Beria Bamsa. There in that tirtha is another, O Lord of the Bharatas, that belongs to Viswamitra. Bathing there, best of men, one gains the status of a true Brahmana. Purusha Vyagara, the pilgrim, his body pure and his mind subdued, goes on to Brahmayoni, and bathing there at the abode of Brahma, he sanctifies his race for 7 generations before and after. Next, he travels to another tirtha renowned through the worlds, Pritudaka, which belongs to Kartikeya. He bathes there, worshipping the Devas and the Peters. Whatever evil any man or woman has committed, knowingly or otherwise, is destroyed by a bat in that sacred tirtha, which also confers the the punya of the Aswamedha and Swaraga as well. The learned say that Kurukshetra is holy, holier than Kurukshetra is the Saraswati, holier than the Saraswati are all the Tirthas together, and the holier than all the Tirthas together is Pritudaka. He, he who, he who, what is going on? He who casts off his body at Pritudaka while chanting holy mantras becomes an immortal. Sanat Kumara and the high soul Vyasa have sung, and it is in the Vedas also that one should indeed go to Pritudaka with soul subdued. O son of the Gorus, there is no Tirtha which is superior to Pritudaka. Without doubt, that Tirtha is purifying, holy, and sin destroying. The most sinful man who bathes in Pritudaka goes to heaven. O best of the Bharatas, in that Tirtha is another called Madhustrava. Bathing there, one acquires the merit of giving away 1,000 cows. After this, the pilgrim must proceed to the celebrated and sacred Tirtha where the Saraswati unites with the Aruna. Bathing there, after fasting for 3 nights, one is cleansed of even the sin of killing a Brahmana and obtains punya that is superior to that of a dirty Agnistoma or Atiratra sacrifice and redeems his race to the seventh generation, up and down. In that Trita is another called Ardhakila. From compassion for the Brahmanas, Darby created the Tirtha in days of old, without doubt, by vows, by investiture, by investiture of the sacred thread, by fasts, by rites, and by mantras, one becomes a Brahmana. However, Bharatari Shabha, wise men of old have observed that even a man who is without ritual and mantras become learned and blessed with the punya of Vratas, merely by bathing at Ardhakila. Darby also brought the 4 oceans there. Best of men, he that bathes there never meets distress again, and also gains the punya of giving away 4,000 cows. The Tirtha Yatri goes on to Sadasahaka, Sadasahastraka, next to which is another sacred Tirtha also called Sahasraka. Both are renowned, and bathing in them, one obtains the merit of giving away 1,000 kind. Fasts and gifts here multiply 1,000-fold. Then on he must go to the wonderful Tirtha Renuka, bathe there, and worship the Peters and the Devas. By this, cleanse of everything, he receives the merit of the Agnistoma sacrifice. Bathing next in the Tirtha called Vimochana. With passions and senses under control, he is cleansed from all the sins which accrue from accepting gifts. Senses controlled and observing Brahmacharya, he must then go to the forest of Panchavati. As sojourn there brings great virtue, and he becomes adored in all the realms of the good and godly. After this, one should travel to the Tirth of Varuna called Taihasa, blazing with its own effulgence. In that Tirtha, the Lord of Yoga, Stanu himself dwells, the bull his mount. He that stays there finds success by worshipping the god of gods. It was here that the Devas, with Brahma at their head and rishis endowed with a wealth of asceticism, installed Guha as the Senapati of the celestials. To the east of the Tirtha is another, which is called Kuru Tirtha. With senses controlled and keeping Brahmacharya, he that bathes in Kuru Tirtha is cleansed of all his sins and gains Brahmaloka. He must go next to Swagar Swargadwara. Staying there, the pilgrim finds the merit of the Agnistoma sacrifice and goes to the abode of Brahma. After this, he must take himself to the Tirtha called Anaraha. Bathing there, he will never meet again with distress. For there, Brahma himself and the other gods with Narayana at their head are always present. O tiger among men, O royal son of this race of Kuru, the wife of Rudra is also present there. Beholding the goddess, one never meets with any sorrow thereafter. In that Tirtha is also an image of Bisweswara, the lord of Uma. Seeing the god of gods there, one is cleansed of all one's sins. Also, seeing the idol of Narayana, from whose navel the lotus sprang, the Tirthayatri places forth, O Parantapa, and goes to the abode of Vishnu. Bull among men, He that bathes in the dirt of all the gods is redeemed from all his sins and shines like the moon. The pilgrim goes next to Swatiputra. By walking in Pradakshina around that place, one gains the boon of giving away 1,000 holy cows. Arriving next at the Tirtha called Pavana, one shall offer oblations to the Pitas and the Devas. With this, he gets Ovaharata, the merit of the Agnistoma sacrifice. Near Pavana in Ganga Hrata and another Tirtha, Ovaharata, called Kupa. 30 million tirthas are present in that kupa. Bathing there, a person finds heaven. Bathing also in the Ganga Hrata and adoring Maheswara, one finds the condition of Ganapatiya and redeems his race. One should next travel to Stanuvata, celebrated all over the three worlds. Bathing there, also, one finds heaven. The pilgrim goes on to Badarachipana, the asrama of Vasista, having fasted there for 3 nights, once leads the Badari fruit. He that lives on Badari for 12 years, and he that fasts at the Tirtha for 3 nights acquires punya, which is eternal. Journeying then at Indramarga and fasting there for a day and night, the pilgrim becomes adored in the realm of Indra. Going on to the Ekaratra Tirtha, he who spends a single night there with Bratas and with perfect trust becomes adored in Brahmaloka. One shall next go to the asrama of Aditya, that lustrous god who is a mass of effulgence, bathing in the Tirtha, famed through three worlds, and worshipping the god of light, one goes to the realm of Aditya and saves his own race. The pilgrim then goes on to bathe in the Soma Tirtha and without any doubt finds the realm of Soma for himself. Next, he must visit the most sacred Tirtha of the illustrious Dadhicha, the sanctifying Tirtha, which is celebrated all over the world. It was here that Angiras of the Saraswata, that ocean of Tapasya, was born. Bathing in the Tirtha, one gains the punya of the Aswamedha, and without doubt, also the realm of Saraswati. With senses subdued, observing Brahmacharya, the pilgrim goes on Kanyasarama. Staying there for 3 nights with subdued senses and a regulated diet, he acquires 100 apsaras and also goes to Brahma's realm. O virtues, he continues his yatra, now to the Tirtha called Sanihati. Living there, the gods with Brahma at their head and rishis endowed with the wealth of asceticism earn great punya. Bathing in the Saraswati during a solar eclipse, one gains the merit of 100 Aswamedhas, and any sacrifice that one might perform there produces merit that is eternal. Whatever tirthas exist on earth or in the firmament, all the rivers, lakes, pools, springs, tanks, large and small, and places sacred to particular gods, all come, all taken among men, month after month, and mingle with Sanihati. It is because all the other tirthas are united together here that this tirtha is so named. Bathing here and drinking of its water, one becomes adored in heaven. Listen to the punya acquired by a mortal who performs as Radha there on the day of the new moon during a solar eclipse. After bathing in this tirtha, he gains the punya of one who assiduously and thoroughly performs 1,000 aswamedhas. Whatever sins a man or woman commits are, beyond doubt, all destroy as soon as one bathes in that tirtha. Bathing here, one also ascends to the abode of Brahma in the lotus called Bhimana. Bathing next in Kotitirtha, after having worshipped the Yaksha Dwamarabalaka Machakruka, one gains the merit of giving away a bounty of gold. West of the Vaharatas, near this is a tirtha called Gangagrada, mind subdued, keeping brahmacharya and bathing there, a pilgrim acquires punya which is greater than that of the Rahasuya and the Aswamedha yagnas. The Naimisha Tirtha confers its fruits on earth. Pushkara confers punya in the realms of the firmament. Kurukshetra, however, confers felicity in all the three worlds. Even the dust of Kurukshetra, carried by the wind, leads sinful men to a highly blessed state. They that live in Kurukshetra, which lies to the north of the Drishadwati and to the south of the Saraswati, really reside in heaven. I will go to Kurukshetra. I will dwell in Kurukshetra. He that utters these words even once becomes cleansed of all sin. Sacred Kurukshetra, worshipped by Brahmarishis, is regarded as Devedi, the sacrificial altar of the Devas. Mortals that dwell there have nothing to grieve for at any time. That which lies between Arantuka and the lakes of Rama and Machakruka is Kurukshetra. It is also called Samanta Panchaka, and it is said to be the northern sacrificial altar of the grandsire. Holy fucking god. That is Canto 83. Man, what a long canto. Oh, yeah. There we go. Tritas. Wow. How many tritas? Amazing. Clap. Okay. Damn, son. Let me. Let me take a break. I need to. Idle break. That is what I need right now. An idle break because I have something to do. So give me 1 or 2 minutes. I will be back. Um, we are back. Nice. Oh man, that was kind of overwhelming. My man, how many times can you say tirtas in one canto? My god, brother. Please, let me see. Tell me that. No, there are more tirtas. No! How many more cantos are of tirta and tirtas and more tirtas? What is even a fucking tirta, bro? Oh man. What is even a tirta? Uh, place of. Oh no. How many pages I have gone already? How many is this? Please tell me that there are no more. The pilgrim. No. How many cantos are there of tirtas? Oh man, I want to. We will try to finish this. This is completely meaningless. This is as meaningless as it gets. My man. Yeah, thank you for the tirtas, bro. Uh, Tirta after tirta after more tirtas. I love every single one of them. Let, oh man, how many pages of tirtas are these? Are we really? Please. It seems that, okay, we have three. Okay. Okay. W- We have only three, right? Uh, Let me confirm. Okay. No, no, no. How many? How many tirtas are we having to read, bro? What is this? What is this thing, man? Oh, we'll be here for like 5 hours reading fucking tirtas. What are even tirtas, bro? I, what? How much are? It seems okay. We have approximately seven more. Seven, no. I think it is like 9 cantos of tirtas to read. Eh, okay, yeah. We have seven, no, nine cantos of tirtas to read. And after that, we're approximately a quarter of the way done with all of this tirta thing. My man, let's pray for the best. Okay, we only we only dealt with one, right? So we have still to, yeah, we we have a long night ahead of us. Let's simply read. Oh man, tirtas and yatras. Thank God that we can learn about them, no? This is probably the best thing to ever happen to us. To have the possibility of observing tirtas, right? Man. Anyways, let me continue. Canto 84. Tirta Yatra Parva continue. Pulastya said, then, O great Kshatriya, one should journey on to the excellent Tirth of Dharma, where the illustrious god of justice once performed an austere tapasya, and it is for this that he made place a sacred Tirtha which would be known after his own name. Being there, a virtuous man, with his mind concentrated in dhyana, certainly sanctifies his family to 7th generation. Next, the pilgrim goes to the wonderful Gnanapavana. Staying there, he acquires the merit of the Agnistoma and goes to Muniloka, the realm of the Munis. Then he must travel to Saugandhikavana. There the Devas dwell, with Brahma at their head, rishis with a world of asceticism, the Siddhas, the Charanas, the Gandharvas, the Kinaras, and the Nagas. As soon as he enters these woods, he is cleansed of all his sins. After this, he goes on to visit the stream of the Devi Saraswati, known here as the Devi Plaksha. There he must bathe in the water issuing from an anthill, worship the mains and the gods, thereby gaining the punya of the Aswamedha. At a distance of 6 throws of a heavy stick from the anthill, there is a rare tirtha called Isanatyushita. The Puranas say, Purushabhyagara, that bathing here a man obtains the merit of giving away 1,000 Kapila cows, and also of the Aswamedha. Journeying next to Sugandha and Satakumbha and Panchayagna, a man becomes adored in heaven. He must visit another Tirtha there called Trisulakkhata, bathe and set himself to worship the Peters and the Devas. Doing so, without doubt, he finds after his death the condition of Ganapatya. The pilgrim travels on to the glorious Tirtha of the Devi, known through the three worlds as Sakambhari. There, for 1,000 celestial years, she of the fervent vow had subsisted month after month only upon herbs. Drawn by their reverence for the goddess, many rishis of great Abhasya came there, O Bharata, and she entertained them with herbs. It is for this that they named her Sakambhari. Bharata, the man who comes to Sakambhari, observing Brahmacharya and Rapindhyana, and passes 3 nights there in purity, eating only herbs, obtains all the will of the goddess, the punya of one who lives on such herbs for 12 years. What? From there he goes on to the Tirtha called Subarna, famed through the three worlds, where in days of old Vishnu paid his adorations to Rudra for his grace, and obtained many boost of acquisition, even many was difficult of acquisition even by the gods. And O Bharata, the gratified destroyer of Tripura, said, Krishna, you will be much beloved in the world, and the foremost of everything in the universe. Worshipping the god, having the bull for his mark, in that place the Tirthayatri gains the punya of the Aswamedha and also the state of Ganapatya. After this, he goes on to the Tirtha of Dhumavati, fasting there for 3 nights. He has his every wish fulfilled. In the southern part of this Tirtha of the goddess, there is another Tirtha called Rajavarta. With a devout heart and senses control, one should visit this sacred place, and, through the grace of Mahadeva, attain a lofty condition of grace. After circumambulating this Tirtha, Bharadari the pilgrim continues his pilgrimage going to the Tirtha named Tara, which, O you of great wisdom, washes away every sin. Bathing there, tiger among men, a man is freed from every sorrow. Bowing to the great mountain Himavat, the pilgrim now takes himself to the source of the Ganga, which is beyond doubt the very gateway to heaven. There, his mind fixed in Dhyana, he waits in the Tirtha called Koti, thereby gaining the punya of the Pundarika sacrifice, and he delivers all his race. Spending 1 night there, one acquires the merit of giving away 1,000 cows by offering oblations of water to the gods on the mains at Saptaganga, Triganga, and Sakravarta, all of which are here. One becomes adored in the realms of the virtues. Bathing next at Kanakhala and fasting there for 3 nights, a man reaps the punya of the whole sacrifice and goes to heaven. After this, O Lord of men, the pilgrim should repair to Kapilabhata, fasting for 1 night there. He acquires the merit of giving away 1,000 cows. This tirth of the illustrious Kapila, king of the Nagas, is celebrated, O best of Kurus, over all the worlds. Bathing at the Nagatirtha, one gains the merit of giving away 1,000 Kapila kine. After this, the pilgrim journeys to the most excellent tirtha of Shantanu, called Lalitaka. Bathing there, one never sinks into distress thereafter. The man who bathes at the confluence of the Ganga and the Yamuna obtains the punya of 10 horse sacrifices, also redeems his race. Next, the pilgrim should go to Sugandha, celebrated over the world. Here, cleansed of every sin, he becomes adored in the abode of Brahma. Then, on to Rudravarta, where bathing, one ascends to heaven. Waiting at the confluence of the Gang and the Saraswati, a man finds the merit of the Swamedha and also heaven. Going on to Brahmakarnaswara and worshipping the gods, the pilgrim ensures that he will never be in distress again and will be loved in heaven. Then, Lord of Men, he goes to Kam- Kubhamraka Tirtha and gains the merit of giving away 1,000 cows, and Swarga also. From there, he journeys to Arundhativata, observing Brahmacharya and his mind fixed in dhyana, bathing there in Samudraka and fasting for 3 nights. He acquires the punya of the Swamedha, that of giving away 1,000 cows, and also redeems his entire clan. One should next go to Brahmavarta, soul concentrated and locked in Brahmacharya Vratas. By this, one obtains the merit of the horse sacrifice and goes to the world of Soma. The man who goes on to the Yamuna Prabhava, the source of the Yamuna, and bathes there, finds the punya of the Aswamedha and is worshipped in Swarga. Arriving after this at Darby Sankramana, a Tirtha worshipping the three worlds, a person acquires the merit of the horse sacrifice and finds paradise. Repairing, repairing next to Sindhu Prabhavar, he sources he source of the Sindhu, which is worshipped by Siddhas and Gandharvas, and staying there for 5 nights, one obtains the merit of giving away an abundance of gold. Going next to the almost inaccessible Peditirtha, the pilgrim finds the punya of the Swamedha and ascends into Swargaloka. Then, O Bharata, one should travel to Rishikulya and Vasishta. By visiting the latter, Albarnas attain to Brahmanahood, bathing at Rishikulya, while living on mounts, eating just herbs, and worshipping the gods and maidens. One is cleansed of all one's sins and obtains the realm of the rishis. Going next to Brigutunga, a pilgrim acquires the merit of the horse sacrifice. Going on to Virabrahmoksha, one is freed from every sin. Traveling then to the Tirtha of Kritika and Maha, one, or Bharata, gains punya superior to that of the Agnistoma and Atiratra sacrifices. The man who goes to the most excellent Tirtha called Vidya and bathes there in the evening becomes a master of every kind of knowledge. Next, the pilgrim must stay for 1 night at Mahasrama, capable of destroying every sin, and eats only a single meal. By this, he gains many auspicious realms and delivers 10 preceding and 10 succeeding generations of his Vamsa. Dwelling next for a month in Mahalaya and fasting there for 3 nights, one's soul is part of all sin, and one acquires the bounty of giving away gold in abundance. Proceeding to Betasika, worshipped by the grandsire, the Tirthayatri obtains the merit of the Aswamedha and the estate of Usanas. He goes on to the Tirtha Sundarika, worshipped by the Siddhas, and obtains radiant personal beauty, as witnessed by the ancients. Proceeding to Brahmani, with subdued senses and observing the Brahmacharya Vrata, a person rises into Brahmaloka in a lotus-hued chariot. The Yatri journeys next to the sacred Naimisha, worshipped by the Siddhas, where Brahma dwells with the Devas. Just the intention of visiting Naimisha destroy half one's sins. By entering it, one is cleansed of all one's sins. The pilgrim of subdued senses should stay in Naimisha for a month, for, O Bharata, all the Tirthas of the earth are present in Naimisha. Meeting there, with restrained senses and regulated fare, one obtains the merits of the cow sacrifice, and also sanctifies his rights for 7 generations, before and after himself. The wise have always said that he who renounces his life at Naimisha by fasting enjoys bliss in the heavenly regions, for Naimisha is that ever grace, sacred, and most holy. Traveling next to Gangot Beha and fasting there for 3 nights, a man obtains the merit of the Bahabeya sacrifice and becomes like Brahma himself. Journeying to the Saraswati, one should offer oblations to the devas and the beaters. With this, the pilgrim will surely enjoy bliss in the regions called Saraswata. After, he wends his way to Bahuda, with soul subdued and keeping the Brahmacharya Brata, staying there for one night. One becomes beloved in heaven, and also gains the punya of the Devasatra sacrifice. On then he must go to Shiravati, frequented by the most holy men. By worshipping the gods and the mains there, he acquires the punya of the Bhajapeya. Traveling next to Bimalasoka, mind subdued and keeping Brahmacharya and remaining there for one night when it's dawn in heaven. After this, he must go to the exalted Gopratara in the Sarayu, where Sri Rama, with all his attendants and animals, abandoned his body and ascended to heaven through the power of this Tirtha. Bathing in the Tirtha or Bharata, through Rama's grace and by the virtue of his own karma, one is washed of every sin and becomes adored in heaven. Going next, O son of the Gurus, to the Ramatirtha on the Gomati, and bathing there, one gains the merit of Desvomedha and also sanctifies his race. There, Bharatarishabha is another guild, is another Tirtha called Satasahastrika. Bathing in it, with senses restrained and fasting, a person repeats the merit of giving away 1,000 sacred cows. Now he should go to the unrivaled Tirtha called Bhardaristana, where he finds the merit of Diyaswamedha. Bathing next in the Tirtha called Koti and worshipping Kartikeya, a man rips the punya and giving away 1,000 kine and acquires great energy. Going next to Varanasi and worshipping the god having the bull for his mark. After that in the Kapilahrata, the pilgrim obtains the merit of the Rahasuya Yagna. Journeying then to Abhimukta and seeing there the god of gods is instantly cleansed of even the sin of killing a Brahmana. By giving up one's life there, one attains moksha. Arriving next at the rare Tirtha Markandeya, celebrated over the world and situated on the Ganga, a person obtains the merit of the Agnistoma sacrifice and delivers his race. On next to Gaia, with subdued senses and observing Brahmacharya, one obtains the punya of the horse sacrifice and also redeems his race. In that Tirtha is the Akshaya Vata, celebrated throughout 3 worlds. Whatever is offered here to the beaters is said to oblations, is said to become inexhaustible. Waiting there in the Mahanadi and offering oblations to the gods and mains, a man acquires eternal regions and also saves his race. Then the pilgrim travels to Brahmasara, the forest of Dharma, and passing one night there, he attains Brahmaloka. In that lake, Brahma raised a sacrificial pillar. By walking around this tamba, a man acquires the punya of the Bhajapeya sacrifice. After this, mighty Kshatriya, the Tirthayatri should go to Denuka, famed the world over, staying there for one night and giving away sesame and cows, one soul is cleansed of every pain. And one ascends into the world of Soma. Here, of yore, the cows Kapila range over the mountains, with her calf or Bharata, her great hoof prints and her young ones can be seen in that place even today. By bathing in those hoof prints, whatever sin a man might have incurred is washed away. Then should one go to Gridharavata, consecrated to the trident bearing god, approaching the deity having the bull for his mark. The pilgrim should rub himself with ashes. If a Brahmana, he gains the merit of observing the 12-year vow, and if he belongs to any other of the Brahmas, he is freed from all his sins. After this, on to the Udiyanta mountains, which resounds with great and mysterious songs. There, You can still see the footprints of Savitri, the Brahmana of rigid vows who says his morning, noon, and evening prayers here for a day finds the punya of performing that service for 12 years. The famous Yonitwara is in this place. Going there, one is set free from the pain of revered. The person who stays at Gaia during both dark and light fortnights certainly sanctifies his own kula up and down to the seventh generation. One should wish for many sons so that at least one of them eh? One of them might go to the Gaia or celebrate the horse sacrifice or offer a Nila bull. Then the pilgrim should proceed to Falgu, where he acquires the punya of the Swamedha and finds great success. After this, the pilgrim, his mind quietened, shall travel to Dharmaprastha. There, all forms of Kshatriya, purifying oneself with bath. He who offers oblations to the devas and the Peters is cleansed of all his sins and ascends into Swarga. In that Tirtha is the hermitage of the great Rishi Matanga of the perfectly restrained soul. By entering that beauteous Rama, which can soothe fatigue and sorrow, one earns the merit of the Gavamayana sacrifice. And by touching the image of Dharma, which is there, one obtains the fruit of the horse sacrifice. One should next go, O Kshatriya, to the excellent Brahmasthana, approaching Brahma, that go bull among men. Eh? That bull among men, beings who is present there, one acquires the merit of the Rajasuya and Aswamedha yagnas. The pilgrim should then repair to Rajagriha, bathing there. One lives as happily as the Rishi Kakshivan, purifying himself. The pilgrim should partake here of the offerings daily made to Yakshini. By this, one is freed even from the sin of killing a Brahmana through your reactions, through your through the Yakshini's grace. Going on to Maninaga, one finds the punya of giving away a thousand kind of Bharata. He that eats anything at all offered at the Tirtha of Maninaga becomes immune to the venom of the most deadly serpents. I think therefore one night one is cleansed of one's sins. Then should the pilgrim continue to the favorite forest of the Brahmarishi Gautama. There, bathing in the lake of Ahalya, he attains to an exalted state. After this, seeing the image of Sri, he acquires great prosperity. There in the Tirtha is a well-famed truth of Trilokas. Bathing in it, one acquires the merit of the Aswamedha. Here is also well sacred to the Rahanishi Hanaka, a well that the gods worship. Bathing in this well, one rises into Vishnu Loka. Then should one repair the Vinasana that destroys every sin. By going there, one acquires the punya of a Pahapeya sacrifice and also gains Somaloka. Traveling next to Gandaki, which is created by the waters of every tirtha, a person acquires the merit of the Pahapeya and ascends into Suryaloka. The pilgrim journeys next to the Visala, rivers celebrated across the three worlds, and gains the merit of the Agnishtoma and also rises into Swarga. After this, virtuous one, he goes to the Tapovan of rishis called Adhivanga and finds great happiness among the Guyakas. Continuing to the river Campana, visited by the Siddhas, one obtains the merit of the Pundarika sacrifice and also ascends into heaven. Arriving then, O Lord of Earth, at the stream called Maheswari, one acquires the punya of the horse sacrifice and also redeems his own race. Sojourning after this to the realm of the Devas, the pilgrim earns freedom from misfortune and also the merit of the horse sacrifice. Next, he must go to Somapada with subdued soul and keeping brahmacharya. Bathing in Maheswarapada, there one reaps the merit of the Aswamedha. In that tirtha, O Bharata Rishabha, it is well known that 10 million of tirthas exist together. Once a fiendish Asura, in the shape of a tortoise, attempted to carry it away, but the mighty Vishnu recovered it from him. There, in that tirtha, one should perform ablutions, for by doing this one acquires the punya of the Pundarika sacrifice and ascends into Vishnu Loka besides. Then, O best of kings, one should proceed to the Narayana Tirtha, where, O Bharata, Narayana is always present and dwells forever. The Devas, with Brahma at their head, the Rishis endowed with the wealth of asceticism, the Daityas, the Vasus, and the Rudras all adore Janardana in the Tirtha, and Vishnu is of wonderful deeds, has come to be known as Salagrama. Approaching eternal Vishnu, Lord of the three worlds, giver of one gains the merit of the horse sacrifice and goes to Vishnu Loka. In that place is a sacred well, capable of destroying everything. The forces are ever present in that well. He that bathes in it will be free from misfortune. Beholding the image of the boon-giving, eternal, and fierce Mahadeva who is also there, the pilgrim glows like the moon emerging from behind a cloud. Bathing then in Hadismara, with a pure mind and subdued senses, one acquires, without doubt, the recollections of his past life, going on to Mahaswarapura and worshipping the god, having the bull for his mark. Fasting the while, one gets the fruition of all one's desire. Turning after this to Vamana, where destroys every sin, and beholding the Lord Hari, the pilgrim is set free from all misfortune. He goes on to this Rama and Kusika that can remove everything. Going then to the river Kausika, which cleanses every great sins. Mahapapas, one should bathe in it. By this one obtains the merit of the Rahasuya Yagna. Next, best of Kshatriyas, he shall go to the sacred Champaka forest. By spending one night together, he will acquire the merit of giving away 1,000 cows. Arriving next at Yastila, Tirtha of Red Word, and passing one night there, one reaps the fruit of the gift of 1,000 cows. Seeing the image of Visweswara of great splendor there, with his consort Devi, a person obtains, O bull among men, the world of Mitra Varuna. By fasting there for 3 nights, a man acquires the merit of the Agnistoma. By visiting Kanya Sambedya with senses restrained and fasting, the pilgrim regains the reasons of Manu, the Lord of creation. The rishis of stern vows have said that he that gives away rice or makes any gifts at the tirtha called Kanya renders such a gift eternal. Arriving next at Nisjira, celebrated through the three worlds, he gains the merit of the horse sacrifice and goes to Vishnu Loka. Those that give dana at the conference of Nisjira ascending to bless Brahma Loka. In that tirtha is the asarama of Vasista, known in the three lokas. Waiting there, one obtains the merit of the Bahapeya. Going on to Devakuta, to which the Varishis resort, one acquires the punya of the Aswamedha and also delivers his mind's Vamsa. After this, the Tirthayatri should go to the lake of the Muni Kausika, where Kausika's son, Viswamitra, found grace. Waiting there, a man acquires the merit of the Vahapeya, or Kshatriya. At Kausika, the pilgrim should spend 1 month and reap the punya of the Aswamedha Yagna. He that lives in that best of Tirthas, Maharada, enjoys immunity from misfortune and also gains the merit of giving away gold in abundance. Next, seeing Kartikeya, who dwells at the Viras Rama, a man surely reaps the fruit of the horse sacrifice. Proceeding to Agnihrada, celebrated across the three worlds, and after about there, beholding the eternal and boon-giving Vishnu, that god of gods, the pilgrim acquires the punya of the Agnistoma. Turning on to the pool of Brahma near the mountains with peaks of snow and bathing in it, A man gets the merit of the agnistoma. Falling from the grandsire's stool is that wall sanctifying stream, celebrated through the walls, called Kumara Dara, bathing there. One has to one has all purposes fulfilled. Fasting in that tirtha for 3 days, one is cleansed even of the sin of slaying Abraham. The pilgrim shall go on the peak of the great goddess Gauri, also renowned across the three worlds. Climbing it, O best of men, one should again approach Stanakunda. By touching the waters of Stanakunda, a person gains the merit of the Vahabeya Yagna. Oh, arriving next at the well of Tamraruna, frequented by the gods, one acquires, O Lord of Men, the merit which attaches to human sacrifice. Bathing next to, at the confluence of the Galika with the Gausiki and the Aruna, and fasting there for 3 nights, a man of learning is cleansed of all his sins. Going on to the Urbasitirtha and then to Somasarama, a wise man, by bathing next at Kumbhakarasarama, becomes loved through the world. The ancients knew that by touching the waters of Kukamukha while observing steady vows and brahmacharya, a man revives the memory of his former life. The pilgrim goes quickly next to the river Nanda, where a regenerate man becomes free from all his sins and soul control, rises into Indraloka. Then on he goes to the island called Rishabha, where cranes die, and bathing in the Saraswati he blazes forth in heaven. Continuing to the Tirtha, Audalaka, frequented by Munis and bathing there, one is cleansed of all one's sins. Repairing next to the sacred Tirtha Dharma, where Brahmarishis come, one acquires the merit of the Mahapeya and becomes respected in Swargaloka. Proceeding to Champa and bathing in the Bhagirathi, he who goes to Dandaparna finds the punya of giving away 1,000 kine. After this, he must go on to sacred Lalitika, graced by the presence of the virtues. By this, the Tirthayatri acquires the merit of the Rahasuya sacrifice and is regarded in heaven. That is Canto 84. How much? Okay, we need to deal with these problems, but I can barely stay up. They are so boring, man. These are probably the most boring cantos so far that we have read. Give me like 5 minutes. I will be back. 5 minutes of resting my eyes from all of the fucking reading. Man. I don't even know how much time will pass, man, but this is so fun. Oh man. We will have to keep reading. Fuck. Oh man. This is the part where they said, you know what? Throw them the fucking Tirta shit. They won't even know what the fuck is going on. Anyways, let us continue. Brother, what is this about? Well, we left on Canto 84. Uh, no comments to make. Continuing on to Canto 85. Tirta Yatra Parva continued. Pulatstia said, arriving next at the excellent Sambetia Tirtha in the evening and touching its waters, the pilgrim surely gains knowledge and wisdom. Created a Tirtha in days of old by Rama's power, at Lauhitia one obtains the merit of giving away a bounty of gold. Then, on the river Karatoya, and fasting there for 3 nights, a man acquires the merit of the horse sacrifice. This is the sanction of the Creator himself. It has been said by the wisest, O Kshatriya, that if a person goes to the place where the Ganga mingles with the sea, he reaps merit which is 10 times that of the Aswamedha Yagna. Crossing over to the opposite bank of the Ganga, he that bathes there, having spent 3 nights in the place, is cleansed of all his sins. The pilgrim must next go to the Baitarani capable of destroying every sin. Arriving after this at the Tirtha named Viraha, he, like the moon, and sanctifying his Bamsa, rescues it and is himself purified of all his sins. He that bathes in Viraha further reaps the punya of giving away 1,000 cows, living in purity at the confluence of the Sona and the Yotirathi, and offering oblations of water to the gods and the mains, a man reaps the merit of the Agnistoma sacrifice, touching the waters of the Bamsagulma, constituting the sources of both the Sona and the Narmada. One obtains the punya of the Aswamedha, traveling on to the Tirtha called Rishabha in Kosala, O Lord of Men, and fasting there for 3 nights, one earns the merit of the Bahapeya sacrifice and of the gift of 1,000 kine, and also delivers his race. Arriving at Kosala, a man shall bathe in the Tirtha named Kala, and by this he surely obtains the merit of giving away 100 sacred pools. By bathing in Pushpavati and fasting there for 3 nights, one sanctifies his own race, besides earning the merit of the gift of 1,000 cows. O foremost of the Bharatas, by bathing in the Tirthakal Patarika, one obtains long life and also goes to heaven. Arriving next at Champa and bathing in the Bhagirathi and seeing Danda, one earns the punya of giving away 1,000 kine. Then the pilgrim should go to the sacred Lapetika, graced by the presence of the Pius. There he reaps the punya of the Bahapeya and also becomes regarded by the gods. Proceeding next to the mountain Mahendra, where Ramadagnya lived, and bathing in Ramastirtha, a person acquires the fruits of a horse sacrifice. Here is Matanga's Tirtha, Kedara, O son of the Gurus. Bathing in it, a man gains the merit of giving away 1,000 kine. Going on to the mountain Sri, he who touches the waters of the stream there, worshipping the god who has the bull for his mark, obtains the merit of the horse sacrifice. On the mountain Sri, the effulgent Mahadeva dwells in joy with the goddess, as also does Brahma with the other gods, by bathing in the lake of Beba. With purity and mantra strength, one gets the merit of the horse sacrifice, and also attains the highest success. Proceeding next to the mountain Rishabha in Pandya, worshipped by the gods, He finds the merit of the Mahapeya and rejoices in heaven. After this, he must go to the river Kaveri, frequented by Apsaras. Bathing there, he gains the merit of giving away 1,000 cows. After this, he must touch the waters of the Tirtha Kalkanya on the shores of the sea and be cleansed of every sin. Going next to Wakarna, celebrated across the three worlds, which is situated in the midst of the deep and is reverenced by all the locals, and were the gods headed by Brahma, and rishis endowed with the wealth of asceticism, and Bhutas and Yakshas and Pisachas, and Kinaras, and the great Nagas, and Siddhas and Charanas and Gandharvas, and men of Panagas, and rivers, seas, and mountains who worship the Lord of Uma, one should worship Isana, fasting there for 3 nights. By this, one acquires the merit of the horse sacrifice and the state of Ganapatya. By staying there for 12 nights, one's soul is cleansed of all sin. One should go to the tirtha known as Gayatri, renowned across the worlds. Staying there for 3 nights, one acquires the punya of giving away 1,000 cows. A strange phenomenon is seen to occur there. O Lord of men, if a Varhamana, whether born of a Varhamani or any other woman, recites the Gayatri there, the recitation becomes rhythmic and musical, while, O Kshatriya, one who is not a Varhamana cannot chant it adequately at all. Going next to the well-nigh inaccessible tank of the Brahmana Rishi Sambarta, one acquires personal beauty and prosperity. Repairing next to Vena, he that offers oblations of water to the gods and the mains, gains a chariot drawn by peacocks and cranes. Going next to the Godavari, ever frequented by the Siddhas, one earns the merit of the cow sacrifice and goes to the wondrous realm of Pasuki. Bathing next at the confluence of the Vena, one obtains the punya of the Bahapeya sacrifice. Bathing next at the confluence of Berada, one acquires the punya of giving away 1,000 kine. Arriving next at Brahmastana, he that stays there for 3 nights acquires the merit of giving away 1,000 kine, and also ascends into Swarga. Coming next to Kusaplavana, with a subdued mind and keeping Brahmacharya and staying there for 3 nights, he that bathes in that tirtha obtains the merit of the Aswamedha. Bathing next at the romantic Devahrata, fed by the waters of the Krishnavena, and also in the Hadismarahrata, one regains the memory of one's former life. It was here that Indra celebrated 100 sacrifices and ascended to heaven. By visiting only this tirtha, one acquires the punya of the Agnishtoma. Bathing next in the Sarvadeva Hrata, the pilgrim obtains the merit of giving away 1,000 sacred cows. Going on to the most holy tank, Payosni, best of waters, he that offers oblations of waters to the gods on the mains acquires the merit of the gift of 1,000 kinds. Arriving next at the sacred forest of Dandaka, a person should bathe in the waters there, and immediately gain the punya of giving away 1,000 cows. Journeying next to the saram of Sarabhanga and that of the illustrious Sukha, one acquires immunity from all misfortune, besides sanctifying his race. Then should one travel to Surparaka, where Hamadagni's son lived of old, bathing in that tirtha of Rama, one acquires the merit of giving away gold in abundance. Bathing next in the Saptagodavara, with senses subdued and food regulated, one earns great merit and also goes to Devaloka. Going on to Devahrata, a man gains the merit of the Devasatra sacrifice. After this, the pilgrim should journey to the forest of Tungaka in self-restraint and keeping brahmacharya. It was here that, in olden days, the Munisaraswata taught the Vedas to other ascetics, when the Vedas had been lost in consequence of the Munis having forgotten them. Angirasa's son, seated at his ease upon the upper garments of the other Munis, duly spread out, pronounced the sacred syllable Om. And at this the sages again remembered all that they had learned before. It was there that the rishis and the devas Varuna, Agni, Prajapati, Narayana, who is also called Hari, Mahadeva, the illustrious Pitamaha of great splendor, appointed the resplendent Brigu to officiate at the sacrifice, gratifying Agni with libations of ghee poured according to the law of ritual. The illustrious Brigu performed the Agnidana sacrifice for all those rishis, after which both they and the gods went away to their respective homes, one after another. One who enters the forest of Tungaka, man or woman, is cleansed of every sin. In that tirtha, O Kshatriya, one shall remain for a month, with senses and food controlled. By this, one ascends into Brahmaloka, and also delivers one's race. Arriving next at Merkavika, one shall offer oblations of water to the gods and the mains, and so acquire the merit of the Agnistoma sacrifice, and also memory and intellect. That tirtha is the mountain famed the world over, called Kalanghara. Bathing in the worldly lake that is there, one acquires the merit of giving away a thousand kind. He who afterward offers oblations on the Kalanghara mountain is, without doubt, regarded in heaven. Going on to the river Mandakini, which can destroy every sin, and which flows on that best of mountains, Chitrakuta, he that bathes there and worships the gods and the mains, receives the punya of the horse sacrifice and attains to an exalted state. After this, virtuous one, the pilgrim should visit the excellent Tirtha Bharatistrana, where Kartikeya, Senapati of the Devas, is ever present. By going to Shasti Tirtha, a man finds success. Bathing next at the Tirtha called Koti, he earns the merit of giving away a thousand cows. Having walked around Koti, he must go on to Gyestatstana. Looking at the image of Mahadeva there, the Tirtha Yatri shines like the moon. There is a renowned well in that place, Bharatari in which are the four seas. He that bathes there, and with mind subdued, worships the gods and the ancestors, is cleansed of all his sins, and attains to an exalted state. Then one shall journey to the great Siring Seringaverapura, when once Dasarashtra's son Rama crossed the Ganga. Bathing in the Tirtha, Mahabahu, one is exorcised of all one's sins. Bathing with subdued senses in the Ganga, when observing Brahmacharya, one is washed of every sin, and also receives the punya of the Mahapeya. After this, the pilgrim goes on to Mayuravata, consecrated to Mahadeva of awesome intelligence, seeing the image of the god there, bowing down to him and walking around the place in Pradakshina, one acquires the condition of Ganapatiya. Bathing in Ganga Tatirtha, all one's sins are washed away. Then, O Kshatriya, one shall go on to Prayaga, whose praises have been sung by rishis and water gods who dwell with Brahma at their head. The cardinal directions with their presiding deities, the Lokapalas, the Siddha, the Peters, adored by the worst Maharishis, Sanat Kumara, Sanat Kumara, and others, stainless Brahmarishis, Angiras and others, the Nagas, the Suparnas, the Siddhas, the rivers, the seas, the Gandharvas, the Apsaras, and the Lord Hari with Prajapati. In that Tirtha are three fiery caverns between which the Ganga, that foremost of Tirthas, rushes. There, in that place, the world purifying daughter of the sun, Yamuna, celebrated across the three worlds, unites with the Ganga. The country between the Ganga and the Yamuna is regarded as the Yoni, Mons Veneris, of the world, and Prayaga as the foremost point of that. The Tirthas, Prayaga, Pratistana, Gambala, Aswatara, and Bhagavati are the sacrificial altars of the Creator. In those places, O Kshatriyotama, the Vedas and the Yajnas, in embodied forms, and the rishis blessed with the world of asceticism, adore Brahma, and there the gods and kings of the world also celebrate their sacrifices. They learned, however, that of all these theatres, Prayaga is the most sacred, in fact, the foremost of all theatres in the three worlds. By going to the theatre, by singing its praises, or by taking a little earth from it, one is purified of every sin. He who bathes in that confluence, celebrated the world over, acquires all the punya of the Rajasuya and the Aswamedha Yagnas. The gods themselves worship this tirtha. If a man gives ever so little here, it increases over a thousandfold. Child, do not let the text of the Veda nor the opinions of men turn your mind from the desire to die at Prayaga. O son of the Gurus, the wise say that 600 million and 10,000 tirthas exist at Prayaga. Bathing in the confluence of Ganga and Yamuna, one obtains the merit that attaches to the four kinds of knowledge and the merit also of those that are founded in the truth. At Prayaga is the excellent tirtha of Vasuki, Kalbhagavati. He that bathes in it obtains the merit of the Aswamedha. There in the Ganga is also the tirtha famed throughout the three worlds, Kal Hansaprabhatana, which confers the merit of 10 Aswamedhas. O Kurunandana, wherever a person bathes in the Ganga, he earns merit equal to that of a visit to Kurukshetra. An exception, however, is made in regard of Kanankala. While the punya touching to Prayaga is the greatest, having committed 100 sins, he that bathes in the Ganga has all his sins washed away by the waters, even as fuel is consumed by fire. It has been said that in the Satya Yuga, all the tirthas were sacred. In the Treta, Pushkara alone was holy. In Dwapara, Kurukshetra, and in the Kali Yuga, the Ganga alone is sacred. In Pushkara, one should practice austerities. In Mahalaya, one should perform clarity. In the Malaya mountains, one should ascend to the funeral pyre. And in the Berikutunga, one should renounce one's body by foregoing food. Bathing in Pushkara, in Kurukshetra, in the Ganga, and in the confluence of the Ganga and the Yamuna, one sanctifies 7 generations of one's Vamsa up and down. He that recites the name of the Ganga is purified. He that sees her receives prosperity, while he that bathes in her and drinks of her water sanctifies 7 generations of his race, above and below himself. As long as one's bones lie touching the waters of the Ganga, so long does one live regarded in Swarga. Even as one lives in heaven, in consequence of the merit he earns by pious pilgrimages to all the sacred tirthas and other holy places. There is no tirtha like the Ganga, there is no god like Kesava, and there are none superior to Brahmanas. This has been said even by Brahma, the grandsire. The land through which the Ganga flows must be regarded as sacred as Rama, and any place on the banks of the Ganga shall be regarded as one favorable to the attainment of ascetic success. One shall narrate this description of the tirthas only to the regenerate, to those that are pious, to one's sons and friends and disciples and dependents. This narrative without a rival is blessed and holy and leads to heaven, sacred, enlivening and sanctifying. It bestows merit and high worth, destructive of every sin. It is a mystery that the great riches cherish with care. By reciting it in the midst of Brahmanas, one is cleansed of every sin and ascends to paradise. Truly, this description of the tirthas is auspicious and heaven-given, and sacred indeed. Ever blessed as it is, it destroys one's enemies. Foremost of all accounts, it sharpens the intellect. By writing this narrative, the sonless obtain sons, the destitute obtains riches, the Kshatriya conquers the whole world, the Vaisya comes by great wealth, the Studra has all his desires fulfilled, and the Brahmana crosses the ocean of samsara. Purifying himself, he that listens daily to the merits of the different tirthas, recollects the incidents of many previous births, and rejoices in Swargaloka of the tirthas that have been named here, some are easily accessible, while others are difficult of access. But he who is inspired with the desire of beholding all the tirthas should visit them even in imagination. Wanting to obtain punya, the vasus de satyata dityate, marutyaswin and the rishis equal to the devas, all bathed in these tirthas. O Guru, observe the vows I have explained, and with subdued senses visit these tirthas, increasing your punya, because of their pure senses, their belief in God, and their knowledge of the Veda. Pious men are able to visit these holy tirthas. O Karabhya, O Kaurabhya, he who does not observe vows, he whose mind is not controlled, he that is impure, he that is a thief, and he that is of corrupt mind, does not bathe in any tirthas. Your works skip dharma, and are of pure character. By your virtue, you have always gratified your father, your grandfather, and great grandfathers, and also the gods with Brahma at their head, and the rishis also. O Bhishma, who resembles Basava, you will attain to the world of the Vasus, and also find eternal fame on earth. Narada continues, with this, the illustrious Rishi Pulastia, well please, bid Bhishma farewell and vanished before his eyes, and Bhishma, O tiger among men, well known the import of the Shastras, wandered over the world at the behest of Pulastia. Bhishma ended his great pilgrimage to all these tirthas, which destroy every sin, at Prayaga. The man that arranges the earth in accordance with these injunctions obtains the highest fruit of 100 whole sacrifices and earns salvation thereafter. O son of Peter, you will acquire Pundya consisting of the eight attributes, even as Bhishma, foremost of the Gurus, did of yore. And since you will lead these ascetics to those tirthas, your merit will be much greater. These tirthas are infested by Rakshasas, and no one but you, O Kaurabhya, can go to them. He who rests early and recites this narrative by the avaricious and the subject of the tirthas become free from all sins. Those best of races Valmiki and Kasyapa and Atreya and Kandahara and Kandahatara and Viswamitra and Gautama and Asit and Deval and Markandeya and Galava and Bharadwaja and Vasista and the Muni Udalaka and Saunaka with his son and Vyasa and best of sages and Durvasa's foremost of Munis and Havali for austerities. All these lustrous riches endowed with the world of Tapasya are waiting on you. Mighty King, meet with this by undertaking a Tirtha Yatra to all these Tirthas. Ah, great Rishi of immeasurable Tejas, Lomasa, will come to you. Follow him and me and visit the Tirthas one by one. By this you will acquire great fame, even like King Mahabhisha, O tiger among kings, even as the virtuous Yayati and King Purubarava, you blaze forth with your own virtue. Like King Bhagiratha and the illustrious Rama, you shine among kings, even as the sun himself, and you are Maharajan, celebrated in the world even as Manu or Ixbaku, or the famed Puru or Vanya, as in days of yore, the slander of Britra. After burning all his enemies, ruled the worlds, his mind freed from anxiety, so will you rule your people, after killing all your enemies, and, O you of like slope to sleeves, having conquered the earth according to the custom of your partner, you will have renown by your dharma, fame even like Yarakuna by Sampayana continues. O grand King Hanamekaya, having comforted and advised the monarch thus, the illustrious Narada bids him farewell and vanishes before Yudhishthira's eyes. And the virtuous Yudhishthira, reflecting upon what Narada Muni said, begins to describe to his Brahmanas and raises the great spiritual merit attaching to the Tirthas. Understandable. I want to deal with this as soon as possible. So let me take another break and we will continue ASAP. Give me 1 second or so. Compa, ¿qué le parece esa morra? La que anda bailando sola. Basta. Stop. Man, this is pain. Please, somebody, make time pass faster. We are going to end this. We are going to end finishing the Tirtha Yatra Parva. My man, what the fuck is this? Let me drink water beforehand. we have to continue. So yeah, I think I won't be necessarily um angry with this. I think there were some interesting lessons on the Canto 85. Overall, it also mentioned about the different qualities that the two attain in this game to Bhisma. If I'm not wrong, I don't really know who is even receiving the lessons and who isn't. There are like 100 names on only the last canto that I read, so I can't know who they are for. But yeah, somebody got described as a very not simply important character, but rather somebody truly of great qualities. So yeah, that was minimally interesting on one hand. On the other, um, there are kind of weird things. Like I don't consider what is the side of saying, wow, yeah, out of this, resetting out of this world will give you liberation and will allow you to obtain higher realms of felicity or whatever. That doesn't really sound logical to me. Not in the sense that it needs to be fully logical, but rather that it is schizophrenic, my man. So yeah, I can't really make sense out of stuff one. But yeah, a tiny minimal amount of appreciation for what is the text here, instead of simply going schizo. Let us continue now. Canto 86. Tirtagliatro Parva continued. By Sampayana continued. Having ascertained the opinion of his brothers and of the intelligent narrator, Yudhishthira is to Dombia, who was even like the Pitamaha himself, I have sent Purusabhyagara his new to acquire the Devastras. Arjuna, whose prowess can never be baffled, whose arms are long and his intelligence immeasurable, that hero of immense ability and master of weapons, who is like the peerless Vasudeva himself, is devoted to me. O Brahmana, I note both Krishna and Arjuna, those destroyers of enemies, I endowed with untold powers, even as the puissant Vyasa knows them. I know Vasudeva and Ananhaya to be none else than Vishnu himself, possessed of the six gunas, and this is what Narada also knows, for he has always spoken so to me. I also know the two to be the rishis Nara and Narayana. I have sent Arjuna on this mission, knowing that he will accomplish it, not inferior to Indra and entirely capable. I have sent that son of a god to meet the king of the Devas and to receive asters from him. Bhishma and Drona are Atirthas. Kripa and the son of Drona are invincible. The Dhritarashtra's son has made these mighty warriors the commanders of his army. All of them are birds in the Vedas. They are heroic and possess of the knowledge of every weapon. Endowed with great strength, they always want to face Arjuna in battle. And the Sutaputra Kana is also a mighty warrior, a master of celestial astras. As far as the swiftness of his missiles is concerned, he owns the strength of Vayu. Himself a fire, his arrows are like great tongues of flame. The sounds his left hand case in letter makes when he loses these shafts are like those flames crackling. The dust of the battlefield is the smoke of the fire, the sports owned by the son of Dharatirashtra, even as the wine's Arsis Agni, Kama is like the all-consuming apocalypse at the end of the Yuga, which Death himself sends. He will consume my troops like straw. Only that awesome thunderhead called Arjuna, helped along by Krishna like a powerful wind, would devastate its fierce lightning the white steeds, the rows of white cranes coursing below it, and the unbearable Gandiva. The rainbow ahead can extinguish the conflagration that is Kama with arrowy showers loose with unflying consistency. I have no doubt that the conqueror I have no doubt that that conqueror of hostile cities, Piphatsu, will acquire all the celestial astras with the awesome might and energy from Indra himself. I believe that Arjuna by himself is equal to all the great heroes that oppose us. Otherwise, we could never hope to vanquish them. We shall see Arjuna, Parantapa, entirely armed with the astras, for once he undertakes a task, he never droops under its weight. And however, without him here in the Gambiaka, Draupadi and we can find no peace. So, tell us of some other Bana, which is sacred and full of delight, where game and fruit abound, where pious munis live in the pasture, and where we can pass our days waiting as eagerly for mighty Arjuna as the Chataka beards do the gathering of rain clouds. Tell us of some asramas, tell us of where we can find lakes and streams and beautiful mountains. Oh, Brahmana, I can stay on this Kambyaka without Arjuna. All of us want to live and go elsewhere. Understandable. Yeah. I don't think there is anything particularly remarkable about this one last canto, because in the case of others, you can say that it is incredibly convoluted, and here it simply happens that it is plain boring. I feel like it doesn't really have the quality of mentioning anything truly interesting. It simply goes on about the different, yeah, about the different qualities that do exist when it comes to um, taking into consideration or thinking or mentioning um, how tired they are of not having Arjuna with them. It isn't really a proper idea or anything besides that. It simply is, as it says on the last part, a beg to know for another place where they can keep themselves entertained while they wait for Arjuna to come back. Basically, nothing really else. So yeah, Canto six, Canto 86 was that. Now we can continue with Canto 87. Tirthayatra Parva continued. Vaisampayana said, seeing the Pandavas anxious and dejected, Domya, who resembles Brihaspati, comforts them. Bharatari sinless one, listen to me and I will tell you about some holy ramas and lands and tirthas and mountains of which the great Brahmanas approve. Listen to me, yourself, your brothers and Drupada's daughter, and you will find relief from your sorrow, son of Pandu. By merely hearing of these places, you will acquire punya. By visiting them, you will gain a merit 100 times greater. Oh, best of men, First, O king, I will, as far as I recall, speak of the beautiful eastern country, much adored by Raharishis. In that direction, O Bharata, lies a place called Naimisha, which is regarded by the Devas. There, in that land, are several tirthas belonging to the gods. There, too, flows the sacred and beautiful Gomati, worshipped by the Varishis. And there, as well, stands the sacrificial stake of Surya. In that quarter is also the west of hills, Gaia, and much regarded by royal sages. On that hill is the auspicious lake called Brahmasara, which is adored by celestial rishis. The ancients say that one should wish for many sons, so that at least one among them might visit Gaia, perform the Aswamedha or give away a Nila bull, and thereby deliver 10 generations of his clan up and down. Then there, O Yudhishthira, is a great river and a particularly species spot called Gayasira. Gayasira is a Nyagrotha, a banyan tree, which the Brahmanas call the eternal banyan, for food that is offered there to the beaters become eternal. Oh, Mahatman, the great river that flows by the tree is known by the name of Falgo, and its water are most sacred. Mahartarishapka. In this place is also the Kausiki, whose basin abounds in various fruits and roots, and where Viswamitra, his well as his tapasya, acquired Brahmana. Towards that direction also is the Ganga, on whose banks Bhagiratha performed many sacrifices with profuse gifts to Brahmanas. They say that in the country of Panchala there is a forest called Utpala, where Viswamitra of Kausika's race performed sacrifices with his son, and where, seeing the relics of Viswamitra's superhuman power, Rama, the son of Kamadagni, recited the praises of his ancestry. At Kamyaka, Kausika's son once quaffed the Soma rasa with Indra. Then, abandoning the Kshatriya Varna, he said, I am a Brahmana. In that quarter, O hero, is the confluence of Ganga and Yamuna, which is celebrated the world over, holy and sin destroying. That Tirtha is much reverenced by the rishis. It is here that the soul of all things, Brahma the grandsire, in olden days, performed his sacrifice, and it is for this, O Lord of the Maharajas, that the place has come to be called Prayaga. In this direction, O foremost among kings, lies the beautiful ashram of Agastya, and the forest called Tapasya, which many rishis adorn, and there also is the great Tirtha called Hiranyabindu, on the Galanhara hills, and that best of mountains called Agastya, which is sacred and auspicious. In that quarter, ocean of the Gurus, is the mountain called Mahendra, sacred to the illustrious Rama of the Brigus. There Kaunteya, the grandsire performed sacrifices of yore. There, O Yudhishthira, the sacred Bhagiratha enters a lake, and there also, O king, is that holy river, the punya-giving Brahmasara, on whose banks live men whose sins have been washed away, whose very sight bestows great grace. In that direction also lies the high soul Matanga's final Rama, Kedara, which is holy and auspicious and renowned through the world. There is also the mountain called Kundora, so delightful and abounding in fruits and roots and waters, where Nala, king of the Nishathas, slacked his thirst and rested a while. In that quarter also is the delightful Devavana, graced by ascetics. There, too, are the rivers Bahuda and Nanda on the mountain's crest. Mighty king, I have described to you all the tirthas and other sacred places in the eastern quarter. Hear now of the tirthas and river and mountains and holy places in the other three quarters. No comments. Canto 88, Tirtha Yatra Parva continued. Don't be continued. Listen, O Maharaja, and I will now tell you about the holy tirthas of the south. In that quarter flows the sacred and auspicious Godavari, full of crystalline water, abounding in tapovanas and frequented by ascetic. In the south also are the rivers Vena and Bimarati, both of which destroy sin and fear, and their banks abounding in bears and deer, and graced with the hermitages of Munis. In that part too, O Bharatari is the Tirtha of the Rahadesh in Riga, the river Payosni, enchanting and brimful of water and visited by Brahmanas. There the illustrious Markandeya of lofty ascetic merit sang the praises in verse of King Riga's line. We have heard what happened to King Riga while performing a yagna to species Barahatirtha on the Payosni. Indra became intoxicated by drinking the Somarasa during the sacrifice, and the Brahmanas, with the gifts they received, the water of the Bayojni, taken up in a vessel or flowing along the ground, or as a spray blown by the wind, can cleanse a person from whatever sins he may commit until the day of his death. Higher than heaven itself, and pure, and created and given by the Trisulin, in that Tirtha is an image of Mahadeva, seeing which a mortal attains to Sivaloka, placing on a scale Ganga and the other rivers with their waters on one side, and on the other the Payosni. In my opinion, the latter will outweigh all the other tirthas in terms of punya. Then, over at Otama, upon the mountain called Varuna Stratasa, is the auspicious Bana Mathara, with its plenitude of fruits and roots, and containing a sacrificial stake in the land north of the Praveni, and around the holiest Rama of Kampa, are many Tapovanas of rishis, and, O child, the Tirtha called Surparaka are two sacrificial platforms of the illustrious Hamadagni, known as Pashana and Punaschandra, and, O son of Kanchi, in that place is the Tirtha Sukha, also with an abundance of hermits Tapovanas. And, O Yudhishthira, in the country of the Pandyas are the Tirthas named Agastya and Varuna, bull among men. There, among the Pandyas, is the Tirtha called the Kumaris. Listen, O son of Kunti, I will not describe them Raparni. In the Dasrama, the Devas, impelled by the desire of obtaining salvation, performed tapasya. In that country also is the lake of Gokarna, celebrated across the three worlds, which is full of cool, pure water, and which is auspicious and can bestow great punya. That lake is extremely difficult of access to men of unpurified hearts and souls. Near the Tirtha is the Sarama of Agastya disciple, the mountain Devastapha, which abounds in trees and grass, and fruits and roots, and there also is the Vaiduria mountain, delightful replete with gemstone and which bestows great spiritual merit. There on that mountain is the hermitage of Agastya, rich with fruit and roots and waters, Lord of men. I will not describe the Tirthas, Saramas and holy rivers and lakes that belong to this Surashtra country. Oh, Yudhishthira. The Brahmanas say that on the sea coast is the Chamasabheda, and also Prabhasa, the Tirtha, which is highly regarded by the gods. There also is the Tirtha Indraka, frequented by ascetics and which can bestow great punya. In that region is a mighty hill named Uhangyata, which is conducive to quick success, about which the Varishi Narada of great intelligence has composed an ancient sloka by performing the passion the sacred hill of Hyanta in Surashtra, which abounds in bears and animals, a person becomes honored in heaven. The Bharati is also in this region, producing great marriage, where Murthusadana dwells, who is the ancient one, in embodied form, and the Sanatana Dharma. Brahmanas bears in the Vedas, and men who know the Atmadvidya say that illustrious Krishna is eternal virtue. Govinda is said to be the purest of all pure things, the most righteous of the righteous things, and the most auspicious of the auspicious. In all the three worlds, he of eyes like lotus leaves is the god of gods, and the lord of all. That is slayer of Madhu, Hari of inconceivable soul, dwells in Dvavarati. Continue. Canto 89. Tirthayatra Parva continued. Domi continues. O Maharaja, I will describe to you the holy Tirthas which lie in the west, in the land of the Anarthas. There, in a westward course, the sacred river Narmada flows, graced by Perigyangu and mango trees, and garlanded with thickets of bamboo, altitirtas and rivers and woods and foremost fountains that are in the three worlds, all the gods with the grandsire, along with the Siddhas, the Rishis and the Charanas, Kurustama, are always come to bathe in the sacred waters of the Narmada. And I have heard that the holy Ramos of the Nomini Visarabas once stood there, and that there was born the Lord of Treasures, Kubera, who has men for his bahanas. There also stood best of hills, the auspicious Baiduria, big with abundant trees that are evergreen and always graced with flowers and fruit. Lord of the earth, on top of that mountain is a tank laden with full-blown lotus, to which the Devas and the Gandharvas come. Many are the wonders, O mighty king, that can be seen on that holy mountain, which is like Swarga itself and which is visited by celestial rishis. There, O subduer of hostile cities, is a sacred river called Biswamitra, which belongs to the Raharishi of that name and which teems, O Rahan, with Tirthas. It was on the banks of this river that Yayati, the son of Nahusha, fell from heaven among the virtues and also obtain once more the eternal regions of the righteous. In this region also the famed lake Punya, the mountain called Mainaka, and the total mountain Asita, rich with fruit and roots, and here also is the hermitage of Kakshasena, and O Yudhishthira, the Saram of Chiavana, also, which is famed in every country, O son of Pandu. In that place, O noble one, men attain the moksha without performing severe austerities. Here, also, Maharajan is the land called Hambomarga, inhabited by bears and deer, where deities of self-restraint dwell, O foremost of those that have subdued their senses. Next, lie the exceedingly sacred Ketumala and Medya, always graced by moons, and, O Lord of Earth, Gangadwara, and the renowned Vana of Saint Bhava, most holy, where the regenerated ones dwell. Here also is the celebrated lake of Brahma, called Pushkara, the favorite abode of the Vaikanasas and Siddhas and Rishis. Moved by the desire of having its protection, the Creator sanctified his verse at Pushkara, O Lord of the Gurus and most virtuous men. If a man of poor soul ever imagines a pilgrimage to the Pushkara, he is purged of all his sins and rejoices in Swarga. Canto 90. Tirtha Yatra Parva continued. Domya continues, O tiger among men, I will not describe the tirtas and sacred places that lie in the north. Do you, O exalted one, listen to me attentively? Beginning this narration, O Satria, one acquires a reverential frame of mind, which is conducive to great good. In two parts flows the most sacred Saraswati, abounding in tirtas and her banks easy of descent. There also, O son of Pandu, is the impetuous ocean-going Yamuna, and the Tirtakal Prakshavatarana, which bestows high merit and prosperity. It was there that the Brahmanas bathed after having performed the Saraswata Yagna. Sinless one, the famed celestial Tirtakal Agnesiras, which generates great punya, the king Sakadeva once performed a sacrifice. After measuring out the sacrificial ground by a throw of the Samya, it is for this reason Yudhishthira that Indra sang the praises of Sahadeva in verses, which are still current in this world, and recited by the Bihas. On the Yamuna, Sahadeva worshipped the sacrificial fire, which gives in 100,000 two Brahmanas. There, too, the illustrious king, the imperial Bharata, performed 35 horse sacrifices. O Chil, I have heard that Sarabhanga once used to fully gratify the desires of the Brahmanas. In this region, he is celebrated as Rama, which produces great merit in that land. Also, O son of Pritha, is the river Saraswati, which is ever worshipped by the gods, who are, in elder days, the Malakias. O great king, performed sacrifices in the northern region. Also, O Yudhishthira is the renowned river Drishatawati, which bestows great punya. Then, O chief of men, are Nyagrod and Panchalya, Yaka and Dalpia Kosha and Dalpia, which are also of Kunti's sacred resort in this world of illustrious Anantayas of excellent bows and great energy, and which are celebrated over the three worlds. Here too, O Lord of Men, the illustrious Etavarna and Abhavarana bells in the Vedas, learned in Vedic lore and proficient in the knowledge of Vedic rites, perform sacrifices of great merit, O King of the Bharatas. Here in the north is also Vishakayupa, which, in days of yore, came to Devas with Varuna and Indra, and performed tapasya, and that is why the place is so eminently auspicious. Here also is Palasaka, where the great and illustrious and most blessed Rishi Hamadagni performed sacrifices, and all the great rivers in their embodied forms, each, each bringing their own holy waters, stood surrounding that best of sages. And there also, O King Biswabasu, Agni himself, seeing that Mahatman's initiation, sang this sloka. The rivers coming to the illustrious Hamadagni, who was sacrificing to the gods, gratified the Brahmanas with offerings of honey. O Yudhishthira, the place where Ganga rushes past, cleaving that king of mountains, which is frequented by Gandharvas and Yakshas and Rakshasas and Apsaras, and inhabited by hunters and Kinnaras, is called Gangadwara. Sanat, what? Sanat Kumara regards this place, visited by Brahmarishis, as also the Tirthakan Kanakala that is near it, as being sacred. There, as well, is the mountains named Puru to which great rishis come, and where Pururavas was born, and Brigu performed tapasya, for which Tatasarama has become known as Brigotunga. Near that peak is the sacred and extensive Badari, most auspicious as Rama, fame over the three worlds of him, O Bharatari, who is the present, the past, and the future, who is Kalnarayana and Lord Vishnu, who is eternal and the best of Purushas, who is preeminently illustrious. Near Badari, the cool current of Ganga was once warm, and her banks there were covered with golden sands. There, the Devas and rishis of high fortune and great effulgence approached the divine Lord Narayana, always and worship him. All the universe, with all its tirthas and other holy places, is their word divine An eternal Narayana, the Supreme Soul, dwells, for he is Punya, he is the Parabrahman, he is the Tirtha, he is the Asrama, he is the first, he is the foremost of gods, and he is the great Lord of all creatures. He is eternal, he is the great Creator, and he is the highest state of blessedness. Lord man, verse in the scriptures, attain to great happiness by knowing him. In that place are the Varishis, the Siddhas, and indeed all the Rishis, where the slayer of Madhu dwells. The primeval deity and mighty Yogin, let no doubt enter your heart that this place is the first of all holy places. These, O Lord of the earth, are the Tirthas and other sacred places in the world. These are all visited by the Vasus, the Satyas, the Dityas, the Marutas, the Aswins, and the illustrious races who resemble the celestials themselves. By yearning, O son of Kunti, to those places, will your Brahmanas and ascetics and with your blessed brothers, you will be set free from fear, says Domya. Can I check some afterwards what is going on? Because I am pretty sure this continues and continues and continues. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it at all why there is such a focus on Tirthas. I feel like all of a sudden, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We will see. We will see. So far, yeah. I think, let me see, how much had we went already? On 2 hours and a half. 2 hours. Well, yeah, 2 hours, particularly in this reading session. Probably a little bit less, like 2 hours and 15 minutes, no? Uh, I don't really know. I feel like we could take a pause at this point approximately, because certainly um, there is so much more than what meets the eye to keep reading that we might not really have the chance of stopping right now. Not of stopping, but more like of believing that by stopping, or sorry, by continuing, we are going to finish this whole text. It seems, it looks to me, I don't want to presume anything, but it looks to me that certainly this is not very good looking. So yeah, I guess we are going to round it up over here today, because this is bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger than what I ever expected when it comes to this. Um, this has this has been everything, man. I'm kind of sad. I won't lie. After all, I always talk about how the quality of being comprehensible or having a particular message is interesting and all of that. Well, today in particular, it does have a lot of sadness to it, because you can notice that this really lacks any particular side of real interest, and tirtas are such a concept that fully escapes our understanding that we can't even try to see them as something minimally good or useful or interesting. So yeah, we'll have to call it a day, I feel like, and we will try to finish them in the next one. We have approximately mm, 20 more pages of these tirtas and such. We will deal with them, and I will try my best to finish all of this with him. But anyways, as always, it was still wonderful to keep advancing with the reading, because this means at the very least that we have gotten rid of a big portion of fully meaningless text, so that will let us have later on better analysis of more profound ideas and such things that will end up appearing in the Mahabharata itself. So yeah, once again, as always, thanks for being here, thanks for watching, thanks for lurking, thanks for watching the bot, thanks for everything. It has been a very good one, and we will say today goodbye, and until the next one, whenever it comes, we'll try as always to take care of ourselves. Stay hydrated, stay well rested, to do all the things that we know we have to do. And even if we don't, at the very least we can say goodbye, knowing that it was a good time. Now, real, once again, have a good one. Good night, rest at ease, and thanks for everything. Once again, thanks. Goodbye.